Sports One-on-One, the longest-running sports call-in show in New York. I'm joined alongside Gabby Price, Kate Cox. I'm Kurt Sippel, your A-host for today. I'm just so excited to talk sports on WFUV. I haven't A-hosted a show in so long. We have One-on-One till 11 to 2 o'clock. Who's not excited? I know I'm very excited.
I'm thrilled.
I'm so excited.
We were just talking how none of us have really been here in a second.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been on One-on-One in a couple months at least, so it's good vibes right now.
Yeah,
It is very good vibes.
And it's not nice out right now, so it's the perfect day to be in
Perfect
the
place
studio.
to be in Stu.
Like,
Can I
gross
just
out.
complain about that for a second?
Yeah.
We
Of
have
course
not
you can.
we have not had nice weather in how long? I don't know. I can't even.
It's felt
so
like
long.
years.
It felt like that was my freshman year of college. Every weekend it rained.
Yep.
Every single weekend it rained. It felt like I lived in Seattle.
Yeah.
That's how it's been feeling lately.
That was basically the month of May as
Yes.
well.
It was
Beginning
so-
of June
I forgot-
and June.
I forgot
And
what
June.
the sun looked like.
And then the
Yeah.
sun finally came out, and it was 100 degrees here, and you didn't want to leave your
yeah,
home as
and,
well.
you know,
It
there was no
100 degrees in New
there
York
was no
City is
good
not-
weather. Yeah,
It's
it
not a
was
good
not.
combo.
I walked
in the
20
Bronx.
I walked 25,000 steps a day that it was 100 degrees.
Oh,
I wanted to die.
jeez.
Kurt.
It was a long day.
There's no excuse for that.
No, it was not. But welcome to One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. If you ever want to call in, 718-817-2750. That's 718-817-2750. Could run through the show a little quickly, but before we do that, we're going to talk about the playlistification of music on Spotify versus Apple Music. We were talking
Yes.
about this in the back before. I am not someone who listens to music on a playlist. I have 6 or 7 songs on my recent search on Spotify that I will press play on, and then I will get the genre that I want to listen to,
Oh.
It's a little
along with
crazy.
new song
That-
suggestions.
Yeah, that's insane.
Why?
You're
I
doing
think-
too much work to get music.
I think
No,
it's
I'm not,
really
though.
good. No. I think it's
Kind
really
of.
good to. I think it's a good way to learn new music.
When
Listen
was the
to
last
new
time
artists.
you listened to a new song
Um,
by a new artist?
I mean, sometime this past week, but I don't write
Yeah.
the time down.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
let's look.
I
let's
don't do
look.
it every day like you. Like that's pretty impressive.
It's
a lot of
it's
times
so
I
much
want,
fun.
Like, comfort music.
I'm
you
getting
know,
my comfort
like-
music, but with also getting my
But I want to know the
other music on top of
words.
it.
Yeah.
Just
I
rock your head
mean,
to the beat.
The newest song
Yeah.
for me was 2 weeks ago. But
That's-
I've been listening to
Wow.
older music recently that I've just kind
What's
of been
older?
turned to. I don't know, 20 years ago,
Okay.
2000s type vibe I've been on
I can't
recently.
talk about the.
But
I was gonna say, wait.
But
I
my
thought if you were gonna drop 60s or something, I would be
no, I'm not saying
older.
I'm not saying
Kurt is,
older, but I'm saying
30s.
not
I have a
not
song.
it wasn't released this week.
Yeah,
You
wait.
know what I mean?
Okay, let's see the search history right
Yes,
now. for
I
my
understand
songs.
that.
Yes,
Kate, yes.
yes.
I have One Dime Blues that was made in 1929.
Nice.
Two Can Win by Jay Dilla. Just a Playa by Count Basie. B.O.B. by Outkast. Ballad of Boot Hill
Nice.
by Johnny Cash.
Okay.
Graceland by
Cash.
Paul Simon. All caps, but not the AMF Doom song, the one by the person with the cat. Serafina Noir. It has it's cat meows and
Yep.
stuff.
Yep.
It's kind of funny.
That's awesome.
ATL Aliens by Outkast.
And this is your driving.
This is just
this is
Is
you
this
on
the
the
new
highway.
genre, or are these things?
These are just the
you're
ones that I've
picking
listened
up?
to.
Okay, yeah.
So I was saying
You're on
because
your
you were
folk
saying
music
you were
love,
saying the
you know?
older music.
I'm-
The music
yeah,
that I was
That's what I
listening to.
mean, Kurt.
That's
music
why
that I was
I
listening
need
to.
to
I'm
specify
not
older
saying
because I know we
older
have some
music.
listeners
I'm
out there
just
who are
saying
like
it's
2000s.
I don't want to
not
say.
older.
It's
I don't
not
want to.
brand
I'm not
new
gonna say
music,
that. I'm
though.
just gonna
It's
be
not brand new music. That's all I'm saying. It's not brand new music.
Yes.
I'm not gonna say
It's
that you
not
shouldn't be
old
listening to that music.
It's
that
not
how old it is.
old.
A lot of it's a lot of static, but it's kind of fun sometimes.
Static.
It is a lot of static.
No, we were saying how we just my go-to is just to play all of the songs in my library and then skip
Yeah, every
But
couple months
to
I make
something I
a
enjoy.
playlist, put all
I
the
can't do
songs
that.
I'm listening to recently, so it gets to be like
But it's just
Yeah, I'm
repeats
I
just
don't
not
know,
a
songs.
couple-
playlist.
it's like
I'm not a
a
playlist.
little bit over
girl.
100
that
maybe,
is a
definitely a couple
playlist.
hours long.
Playing
Shuffle
all
that.
of my music.
It's like
It's
your
all-
like
you still
songs.
get a
Like
bunch
I
of different
probably
genres.
have like
Songs.
thousands of songs saved to my library.
But your like songs.
I do.
let's
it's
just
not
say
like
that-
songs. 'cause
your
it's,
library.
It's Apple Music, so it's
So
different.
it's saved to your library. It's almost the same thing. It's almost the exact same thing.
It's not going to tell me how many songs I have, but it's a lot. It's really a lot.
Quickly breaking news: the Chicago Bulls are trading Lonzo Ball to the Cleveland Cavaliers
Oh,
for
wow.
Isaac Okoro. Wow.
What?
I'm quite
Interesting.
surprised about that trade. I don't really get it. Lonzo in Cleveland, I guess it makes sense. Cleveland needs a ball handler, someone that can play defense. Joe's face behind there doesn't really. He plays very good defense, Joe.
Yeah, I'm not denying that. It's just like they do have a solid backcourt.
They do, but Lonzo Ball adds someone off the bench if he stays healthy. Sorry,
Yeah,
this
if
is
he
very
stays
off topic,
healthy,
ladies
yeah.
and gentlemen, from our playlistification.
Yeah, this is
music
off
segment.
topic.
It is. It is.
Sports is
Breaking
off
news,
topic
so-
Sports
right
is
now,
great. Sports
guys.
is culture. It's music. It's fashion. It's everything.
It's
Yes.
Joe.
everything.
Wait, that's very interesting.
It is interesting. But to run through the segments really quick, we could say where we're going to probably talk about
Yeah.
that. We have the NBA Finals coming up next. We have the draft with a special caller. We have Scoop B, Brandon Robinson, NBA Insider calling in. It's going to be pretty cool. I mean, get to talk to an NBA Insider talking about the NBA draft. The Brooklyn Nets had 5 picks. We'll talk about that later. Then we have Gabby Price, one of our WNBA greats, hosting the segments for the Liberty. We got the General W. We're going to talk about all things WNBA. Maybe the Valkyrie. Maybe we'll talk a little DeWanna Bonner gets cut from the Fever because she doesn't want to play for the Fever. Talk a
Not a
little
problem.
talk a little Yankees. Talk a little Mets. We got some sound that we can play for you before. Then we got General MLB. We're going to be talking a little bit of the All-Star game. The votes just came back. The Blue Jays just have a whole country behind them, so it's a little bit unfair.
It is.
Then we have a really special pre-recorded segment. Gabby, if you want to get into that just a little bit about what is new about that segment and what it is.
Well, all I'll say is for our tennis fans out there, you'll be very happy to hear our episode 5 of our Cross the Line tennis podcast. Me and Mary Hawthorne get into a little Wimbledon prediction, super fun, and we have some hot takes in there, so it'll be a good segment.
You don't ever get really much of a chance to hear tennis on the WFUV airways. It
And
doesn't
hey,
happen very often.
Whenever I'm on, I try and make it happen. I'll say that.
And we have Wimbledon talk. I mean, Wimbledon's
We
one
do.
of the events that I do watch when it comes to tennis.
It's one of the best tennis events.
It's so hard. I'm going to be so honest. I was watching the French Open, and it became so difficult for me to know what was happening. I did not. I was watching it on my TV. I think I told you guys about this.
Yes, we were talking.
I was watching
about
this on my TV all of the days because I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
And
And
I
the
was
time
watching.
difference makes it great.
Yeah, I was watching all of it, and I was like, what round is this? Looking up from my computer in my online astronomy class, I'm like, this is still happening, and it's 4 hours later. I was like,
I mean, I don't know if you guys saw that final match. Over 5 hours. Over 5 hours. How, like,
I just don't
a
understand.
basketball game maybe 2.5.
3
Maybe 3.
at the longest.
5.5.
That's
You're the only
crazy.
person. Like, these athletes
the
are incredible.
sun, yeah, I mean-
I don't get why. Like, I couldn't imagine sitting there and just watching back and
know,
forth,
I
back
know.
and forth.
I was at work. It basically was my entire shift.
That's just so like it's great to be
Yeah.
at work and watch it because
It
like,
was fantastic.
You get paid to
It's
do
a
watch
retail
tennis.
job on a
Well, we were
Sunday,
here
like,
watching the
no one's
women's
coming
in. We were.
singles. We watched the
Didn't-
finals in here,
Another
was
good
awesome.
match.
and that was awesome to
Two
watch.
such good final matches.
She
I'm
was
ready to run this back.
incredible.
Listen,
So
I'm
fun.
just very bad with watching sports that I don't know. I learned cricket through the Cricket World Cup because that was in America.
Hey,
Okay.
that's a good pull.
Hey, it was fun. I'm trying to get more into
Kurt's
tennis.
starting the new cricket podcast for W.
I don't think I could do that yet. We might
It's
have some
just
people.
Kurt.
Just me talking cricket.
It's
just
just
me.
Kurt.
It's
It's a
just me.
one-man podcast.
No one
just
else
me-
gets to talk.
Just me assuming what I'm talking about in cricket is true. I'm reading the ESPN articles about cricket. Do they
Yeah.
have ESPN articles about cricket?
I'm
don't-
sure.
Why not?
Sure.
Joe,
They probably have a cricket
do they have
website
ESPN
too.
articles about cricket? We'll get
I'll
you on
look
that
into it.
case. Get you on that case.
I'm
I'm
interested
sure they
in
do.
that actually.
But before all that, we wrap the show up with a really fun segment. We'll get into that a little bit later. But all in all, really fun show, planned and packed in. Got Joe working on if there's cricket on ESPN. I think he's coming back with the answer.
Real website named ESPN Crick Info.
Hey,
Wow.
that's a big deal.
Okay.
Wow.
They cover it
Crick.
so much that they have an abbreviation. They call it
That's
Crick.
big.
You
That's
already
heard
big.
it here
That's
first.
pretty
You heard it
cool.
here, ESPN Cricket. But we'll wrap this short playlistification cricket Lonzo Ball trade up here. It's one-on-one on WFUV Sports, New York's longest-running call-in show.
What's up, everybody? It's Tucker Austin, one of WFUV Sports' New York Yankees beat reporters in 2025. Aaron Judge and company are hungry to return to the Fall Classic to avenge their defeat last season. Follow me on X at @T_Austin_24 for live game updates, video recaps, and more as the Bronx Bombers chase their 28th World Series championship. WFUV Sports is your home for everything New York Yankees.
Welcome back to One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. If you ever want to call in to New York's longest-running call-in show, words are hard, 718-817-2750. That's 718-817-2750. Everything's on the table. Anything and everything you ever want to talk about is on the table. We can talk NHL draft. We can talk NBA draft. We could talk baseball. We could talk, hey, why not talk cricket? We can talk cricket if you want to call in.
Why not?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Cricket fan.
Yeah, why not?
Are there
Figure it
cricket
out.
fans in the U.S.?
Yes.
Definitely.
In
Yeah.
Brooklyn?
I mean, like a lot.
In Brooklyn?
I'm just thinking about the number.
I mean,
perhaps.
relative to, the big four sports, like, I think you have to think about it,
in
but
New York
I'm
City,
sure.
in New York City, if you go to the park at the right time, there's like over 200 people playing cricket on
I
the,
believe
on the
it.
big
Really?
fields. There are people that play cricket because the game lasts forever.
Right.
It lasts
yeah.
all day.
I used to play cricket on that game on my computer. Do you guys remember that? The Google,
No.
they had, you know how like Google did their like little draw games? I don't know. They had like
They had cricket.
cricket.
They had
and
cricket
I
back
would
in the
pay,
day.
I was probably 10 playing cricket
Hey,
on like my Chromebook.
cricket
Bring it back.
Cricket prodigy.
Yeah, who are you to hate on cricket? You were doing
I
it
was-
before the
yeah.
popularity.
Well,
You were doing it before Kurt knew about it.
Yeah, I mean, years before.
I could be on the cricket podcast.
You can. We're adding
I
members
know.
right as we speak.
We got two.
But moving over to a city that I don't think has ever played cricket in its life, Oklahoma City Thunder are the newest NBA champions this season. This is the 8th unique champion that we've gotten in the NBA Finals. Parity is in the NBA. People think it's a bad thing. I'm not really sure. But the Oklahoma City Thunder are poised to be the next dynasty in the NBA. Just to phrase it first, what did you guys think of this finals? And then we'll talk a little bit more about that dynasty aspect of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah. I'm personally happy the Thunder pulled this one out. I think it was a tough Game 7 to watch. I think, part of it with
Yeah.
watching, I think Game 7,
I think the toughest
I
part
think
was
the Thunder had it the entire time.
Yeah.
But
They would they
after-
would have given them a run for their money. In
I
that
was gonna
game
say
if
after
Halliburton was in it.
Halliburton's injury,
Yeah.
it kind of was like, and I know they kept it close the first half, relatively, but
they were up.
they
Yeah.
were
in
up
the
by
first
what,
half.
one or 2 points?
2 points, yeah.
Yeah,
43 to 41.
but that wasn't sustainable, and I
Yeah.
think people knew that.
I mean, Halliburton had 7 minutes and it was up 9 points.
He had three threes.
Already.
He had three
He
threes.
He
It's a
was gonna
heartbreaker.
have the game of his life, and he went into that knowing he had already had that injury to his his calf essentially and his ankle, and he went into that saying, I'm gonna play for my team no matter what. So that was hard to watch, especially as a Celtics fan, watching that happen to Tatum in such a big game. To watch it happen
the number of
again
Achilles.
was really, really sad and upsetting, because also I think at the end of the day, it takes away the win from the Thunder a little bit, because their
No.
star. Yes.
No,
Yes.
Gabby.
No, it doesn't take it away from
I don't
them
know.
I'm
as
right here.
I know.
Cooper. I'm
My
on
brain-
your side
But
right
My
now.
brain's going.
But I think in their hearts, they're like, damn, I wish we could have played against them and won against
But
them with
Kate-
a full team, a
Kate,
full roster.
I have one thing.
I
to
think the
argue.
the Thunder still would have won. The Thunder still would have
They've
won.
won-
I believe they would have won anyways. However, at the end of the day, it's like, what would have happened? It's just that,
They
what
had
would have happened?
Their win percentage this year, they won 84 games this season.
Yeah.
What was the last team in NBA history? This is a question posed to both of you. To win 84 games with playoffs and regular season. All-time team. Just think about that. Any guesses?
No.
The 1996-97 Bulls won 84
Damn,
games.
that's a long time.
One of the consensus
Makes
best
sense.
teams in NBA history.
Yeah.
And the Thunder match almost all of that. They were number one in, I believe, win percentage this year. Not win percentage. The margin of victory, they blew out teams almost half the time that they played them. A blowout in the NBA, I believe, is classified 20 points. They won in big fashion against every team they played against. Just the Thunder were poised to win it all. And Sam Presti still has draft picks.
Yeah.
They have,
Yeah.
He's insane.
but
He's
they have,
insane.
but their stockpile of draft picks is the same as the Nets, and the Nets have gathered those in 4 years, like in 2 years
Yeah.
at the moment, and they still have draft picks,
And
and
the
they
Nets
just won an
need
NBA
the
championship.
picks. The Thunder don't even need
Yeah.
them.
They don't.
They're just going to build and build and build. I think everyone knew going into those finals that they were going to come out on top. But I think it was so much more interesting because the Pacers pushed it to 7 games.
I was
You got to
gonna
watch
say,
7 games of good basketball.
It
It
definitely.
was so fun to watch. I had a good
Yeah.
time watching every single game, except the final was just hard to watch because of that injury. But it's so good to see them come up on top because of how young they are and how good they're going to continue to be.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't like the Pacers.
How?
With the
They're so likable.
They are so likable.
They're actually a
mean,
lovable basketball
are.
team.
They're
I
the
mean,
most
we-
team player team you see.
Rick Carlisle
And
is
maybe that
Anywhere.
was. I mean, listen, I'm full of takes here,
Nick
but
bias.
that's
Nick bias.
just a little bias on my end.
Yeah.
But they're really like, I really don't like them, but they're really fun to watch.
Yeah.
They play.
Unfortunately,
You gotta admit they
They
play
play
fun
good
basketball.
it was
basketball,
really good
yeah.
basketball to watch. Like, it's really upsetting actually. But good for the sport, good for the finals, obviously, which made this series so fun. And like getting to 7, getting a final to 7 games
Hasn't happened in 10 years.
haven't
Yeah,
happened in 10 years.
Exactly.
Was really fun to see. And it was good to see the Pacers play that well, but I do think like what you like again, were they ever really gonna win this series? No.
Yes. There was a
It
very
was-
good
well,
chance.
It was possible.
Game
if
7
Halliburton was playing, it was
They
possible.
almost- they
Thunder
almost-
would have let that happen.
It's
Exactly
possible.
what you were just saying, Kurt.
I will say this: the Thunder did like their defense was so turned up during that game. 21 turnovers compared to 7.
Yeah.
The Pacers had 21 turnovers. It's so crazy.
It was so bad.
Points in the paint, 40-26. But I think personally, the Pacers just had heart and soul the entire time. Guys like Benedict Mathurin, who were so good all season, tried to make a step up. Guys like T.J. McConnell, he tried to play
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
point guard prowess.
That guy is a.
He
He's
played his heart out. For
He
sure.
did. He
Yeah.
had 16 points. I think
mean,
that he made a few
he had a great
mistakes
game
and a few
sometimes.
errors
Yeah.
during that game. He pulled a lot of Julius Randles, which is dribble into the
Well,
paint and pass to nobody.
He also technically isn't supposed to play that much.
Yeah.
But my point that I was going to get to is that both of these teams, if you look at it, they swapped out their starting 5 and they put in another starting 5.
yeah.
Literally put in another starting 5. And the question that I wanted to propose was, is this sustainable to ever happen again, where a team that is average age of 24 years old wins an NBA championship, not only wins an NBA championship, but wins it in such dominant fashion that everyone doesn't think that any other team was competing with them, because there was no other team that was competing with them. When the Knicks were in the playoffs, it was. When we see the Thunder, we lost. When the Celtics were there, it was. we don't think the Celtics can compete with the Thunder. The Pacers are going to get swept in 4. That never happened. Joe, the Celtics had no shot against the Oklahoma City Thunder.
what?
Whatever, man.
No,
You
okay.
can't even argue with me that they did.
I mean, without Tatum, I can see your point.
With Tatum.
They're
With
reigning
Tatum.
champs, man.
Yeah,
That means
They're
that
always hard to compete
being
with.
being a reigning
they're-
champ means absolutely nothing when it comes to
The same
being
team.
mid.
But it's 7 games. You never know what's gonna happen in a
They were
series.
barely
Kurt.
they were barely the
like
same
we
team
saw.
this game.
Nobody
that
thought the
series.
Pacers were gonna go as far as they did in this series, and they made it to Game 7. You did? Oh! Now you want to
I
say
did.
that?
I
Now
did.
you want to
You
say
did?
that?
Hey Joe,
you really?
listen to
I
Pick
feel
and
like
Pod.
you
I
should
said it.
go back
Listen to
a
Pick and
little
Pod.
bit.
Listen to Pick and
Really?
Pod. Listen to Pick and
Okay.
Pod. Listen to Pick and Pod. Shout out Pick and Pod, WFUV Sports basketball podcast.
Quick
I did
plug.
say the Oklahoma City Thunder a few times, but I did concede and say the Pacers afterwards. Yes, Joe, I could see you in the back. You still think the Celtics are going to be the 2026 champions? 2027.
Maybe
The
not
Nets are gonna be the
2026,
2026
but
The Nets are going to be the
2027?
2027 champions. That's
What?
already in the books.
Very
the banner's
realistic.
hanging.
Kurt, wait.
What?
We're not letting Kurt get away with that
Yes.
right now.
Yes,
The
genuinely
Nets
yes.
are going to be the 2027.
The Nets have
champs.
a lot
Yes.
more things they need to figure out before.
The Nets need
we talk about
15 years
2027.
of
Who's their finals
building.
MVP?
Cam
Yeah.
Thomas, Nick Claxton.
Ain't no way.
Nick Claxton, Finals MVP.
I don't think they're trading Claxton.
I have one, and then we'll get back on track. But Nick Claxton posts on Instagram, "I know where I belong," after he gets signed with the Brooklyn Nets. He could have went anywhere and made even more money than he did with the Nets, and the Nets paid him a hefty contract. He said, "I know where I belong," and posted a photo of the Brooklyn Bridge. And I'm looking directly at you, Joe. If someone does that, why would you trade them? He's a net that wants to be a net. Why would you trade the
And
net
nobody
that
wants
wants
to
to
be
be a
a
net?
net.
That's big for the Nets.
So-
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden. Can I just
Wanted.
keep naming?
Like
Jason
right
Kidd, Vince
now,
Carter.
nobody wants to be a.
Can
net.
keep naming legends. I don't think I can name that many Nick legends. Okay, so back to it.
Are we really?
Yeah.
I'm still
Yeah.
stuck on
Yeah.
you thinking 2027 is going to happen. They need at least 10 years
I'll
of
bet-
development
I'll
and
bet
building.
$10 to anybody who wants it. Call in. I'll bet it. Nets are winning the NBA championship in
Yeah,
2027.
that'll-
Book it
that'll
now.
really
Quote
get
him,
people
quote
going.
him,
Cut the
quote
cut
him.
the clip
Clip
now.
that.
They're
Clip
winning
it,
that.
clip
Clip
it,
it.
clip it.
Clip
Content
it.
directors clip that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You and me.
Gabby, clip it.
Gabby and Kurt, clip that. Other Gabby and Kurt. But I think that this is maybe not a sustainable way to win a championship. I don't know if this is they're able to run it back in the fashion that they did, because eventually you will have to pay the guys that you have to play with. But I think what Sam Presti is thinking is that you can keep swapping guys in and out to this roster
Yeah,
and keep making them really good.
yeah.
But I don't know if how long that lasts. So
well,
my question
he's
that's my
also
question.
got all those picks, those high picks,
but
first
what
round
does that but what does that
picks.
mean though?
That ends rookie contracts are so much
But
lighter.
you're gonna
like,
replace
not spending
guys
as much
like-
money.
You're gonna place guys like J-Dub. He's never leaving, but you're gonna replace
No.
J-Dub with a rookie or two rookies that might do the same
No,
thing.
but as you said, they like to swap out guys
They-
during the game. They
they
have
can
that
swap
depth.
them
They
out.
have that roster.
So do you
I
think,
say they keep up with that.
So do you think the Oklahoma City Thunder, as of today, is the next big dynasty in the NBA? We have yet to see a team repeat in 10 seasons, 8 seasons.
I think as of right now, they're winning again next year.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Gabby?
And that's
No,
saying
I don't
as a
think so.
huge Celtics fan.
Well, they
but
weren't winning
I don't
any,
think
they
we're
weren't winning anyway.
Oh my god.
Okay.
They're
Yeah,
winning
yeah,
2027. 2027. Putting it down. Putting it down.
There's not
Taking
room
a
for
page out of your book, Kurt.
There's not
Yeah,
room for two.
I'm taking
the
a
issue,
page.
the issue
And
is
guess what?
Joe,
And
the
guess
issue
what?
is
I have much better odds than
The
Kurt
issue-
does.
the issue
in
is-
this.
they just traded your whole team.
Oh,
Your whole
No.
team's gone.
No.
Porzingis
Do
is
it.
gone.
Two people and
Drew Holiday is
And
gone.
Porzingis was a medical nightmare.
Derek White's
I
about to
love
be
him, but
gone.
he was,
Yeah.
No,
D.
they're
White's
not
not going
trading Derek
anywhere.
White. White is not going anywhere.
Jason Tatum out
He's
for a
not going
season.
any-
Yeah.
But he's not going anywhere.
Jalen Brown
When he's
might be on
back-
the Nets next season.
No. What?
Actually, that's not
You
even
Kurt,
that's not even a
you
joke. There
wish.
was a lot of talk about the Nets trying to trade for Jalen
They're
Brown.
not
I'm not
trying-
even.
But-
I don't know
But
why.
at this point, the
How-
roster is.
Yeah.
no, there's
they're
no
not
reason.
trading
There's
those
no reason
guys
to
at
trade
this
Jalen
point.
Brown, but
Yeah.
for Jalen
Why
Brown,
would you trade those guys?
Trade
Poor
for
Jalen Brown.
Terrence
God,
Mann.
Yeah.
Poor anybody on the Brooklyn Nets. Come on, Kurt. No. We can put it down. We can put it down. Clip it.
This is
clip it.
history.
Neither of us are going to win a
We're
championship.
gonna
in
come back
2027.
here
Never
in a
gonna.
year. Yeah.
2027, me and Kate are going to be watching the Toronto Raptors hoist another banner.
We're gonna be like, oh my God, what's
Just
going
hands on the head.
Yeah. This is such a surprise.
Yeah.
Can't
Come on,
believe
guys.
this.
Come on.
It's fine.
But-
it's fine.
I just think that overall, the Oklahoma City Thunder, while being built this well and having so many assets, I don't know if in the modern NBA this is sustainable. I don't know
I don't
because
think
of
so.
the amount of contract. Joe, you have something to say?
I just agree with you. I don't know if a dynasty can exist in the NBA in the same way that it did 10 years ago.
I'm unable.
agree.
I'm
Yeah.
unable to fathom the world where you can pay Jalen Williams a lot of money. You can keep up with the Isaiah Hartenstein contract.
Mhm.
You can
Yeah.
have Chet Holmgren. Actually, Chet Holmgren sucks, but you can have Chet Holmgren beyond a rookie deal.
Yeah.
You can have guys like Lou Dort maybe making more money than they usually would be making because of how important they were. I don't know. I just don't see a vision where this
me
team
either.
can keep the same energy back up again. I mean, when you have the consensus MVP in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander,
Mhm.
but the team built around him is just so good
They're so good.
and consistent that
Yeah.
I don't see a world where they can win it. I just don't see a world where the stars align to the way that they did this year
Mm-hmm.
for them to win again. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. I do agree with you, and I think you are seeing I think this Indiana is a great example too, where you have these, I guess, underdog team for lack of a better word, pushing a super team
no
like
top
this
10
too.
picks on their entire starting five.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they made it to. We already mentioned the injury. I don't think that's why I think it's so hard for a team to win back to back because there's so much again parity in the. There has been so much parity in the league right now. To run it back would be.
I don't even know if you run it back with the same
huge
roster
feat.
either.
I don't
though.
think you do.
You have to make some trades, and even more, the Thunder used their pick this season.
Yeah, they did.
You have to figure out the way that, even though you're using these picks, you have 3 young guys already on the roster that will never play. You have guys, Dang, Jones, Mitchell, never playing.
Mm.
They played a minute in the finals, and that's probably giving you a very broad, there's no development right now for them.
No.
There's a very stopgap on being a competitive team with 25 picks. That's the other issue that we can get into with the NFL draft segment, but I think that it's more than anything is that having this many picks and using them is only making it so that the young guys that you're drafting will never develop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They haven't developed. I mean,
no.
Alex Portashevsky, I know he's not really that big of a name, but Joe's laughing in the back. Alex Portashevsky, he's a guy that he went back to Europe. I mean, he was mid, but he never got to even try to develop with the Thunder.
Yeah.
I was gonna.
He
well,
played he
yeah.
played a little bit.
Yeah.
He never got to try to develop with the Thunder because they know what they're building towards.
Yeah. Well, that's why I say next year's a possibility, but after that, I don't see it turning into a long-term.
And is a dynasty
thing.
now? What is a dynasty classified in the modern NBA? Is it 2 championships?
I don't think it's 2 in a row. I
Is it
think
2
it's longer
championships?
than that. If
Is it
you're
3
good
or 4?
2 years and then you fall off, that does not count as a dynasty.
But we haven't
I
ever
don't know,
seen a team
that's
be
what-
good for more than. We haven't seen a team go back to back yet.
Right, but I don't know if that would even count as a dynasty. That's not long
So
enough.
what's-
I consider a dynasty being a long-term
So what's your
success.
dynasty? Because the Celtics dynasty in the 2000s was only 2 championships.
Yeah.
I guess.
2008 and 2011. Yeah.
But I'm thinking if the Thunder are, in 2 years, next year they're great, maybe they win again, but in the year after that they fall off, they're not good at all. They lose their roster. Then that's what I would like. I'm like, how do you consider that a dynasty
Right,
if they're not even good? You have to be at least good and make it far, in my eyes, to be considered a dynasty.
I mean, I agree with you. I think a dynasty, at least historically, has been we mentioned it before, the Bulls. That obviously was a dynasty of wins.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think now, what you're just saying, you're not seeing that anymore. You're not seeing teams go have 3 great seasons back to back. Generally.
But that's my
So,
point is that
yeah.
I feel like
I
a
think
dynasty.
if they win next year, if they win the NBA Finals next year, I think OKC can be this team can be considered a dynasty of sorts if then it's going to go back to 5 different teams in a row winning.
Yeah.
I think a
the NBA
dynasty.
Finals,
I think a modern day dynasty is now winning 2 championships in a row.
which is
Maybe,
absurd.
yeah.
I think that's what that
Which is
means.
absurd.
But we're gonna wrap this segment with a bow. We're gonna throw it out for now. The NBA Finals is over. We're not gonna even have to think about basketball till
Wow.
October.
Which is so sad.
No.
Well, we have the
Which is
NBA draft
sad.
coming up next. We have a very special guest, Scoop B.
Yes.
Robinson, calling right in. He's an NBA insider. We'll be right back. It's Gabby Price, Kate Cox, and Kurt Sippel on one-on-one WFUV Sports, New York's longest-running sports call-in show.
Hi, this is Mike Breen, WFUV class of 1983. WFUV is the flagship station of Fordham Athletics with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to Saturday one-on-one. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
Welcome back to One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. We're still here. We're talking NBA draft. We have a very special guest in the board, but before we announce the special guest, I've announced it a little bit already. Call in to New York's longest-running sports call-in show. We want callers. We love callers. 718-817-2750. 718-817-2750. Now, to introduce our guest, Brandon Scoop B. Robinson, everybody. He was the host of Nets Slammin' Planet in the 1990s, the New Jersey Nets. He's an NBA insider. Welcome, Scoop B. Robinson. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. Thank you all for having me this morning. Good to meet you.
Very good to meet you. I mean, very excited to talk hoops. Just to start out, could you talk a little bit? I'm a big Brooklyn Nets fan. Could you talk a little bit about what it was like being 12 years old and hosting your own radio show? That sounds like a dream.
It is a dream. I had good parenting and right place, right time. The opportunity presented itself. A friend of my mother knew about an audition that was at Chelsea Pier for a local radio program or station in Jersey City at the Liberty Science Center. They were hiring some young kid personalities. Hundreds of kids auditioned. I killed the first audition. The second audition was at Dangerfield's Comedy Club in the city. Killed it. And I was picked amongst like 8 other kids who were hired as kid personalities. And what happened was at the time, the Nets were rebranding. John Calipari was the head coach and the vice president of basketball operations at the time. They had a new logo. They had a new draft pick in Keith Van Horn. The Nets, reached out to that local radio station, brought me in, liked me, and funny enough, for Fordham, Chris Carino, who is the voice of the Nets on the WN, actually was my executive producer for the show. And the show lasted for 2 years, and it changed my life. It was a great opportunity. This was when the Nets were in New Jersey. Sam Cassell was on the team, Kendall Gill, Keith Van Horn, Jason Williams, all those guys. And I was around the Last Dance Bulls. I wasn't just around the Nets. I was around many of the players and who would become executives in the NBA now. And, I kept going with it.
So
That's
cool.
so awesome. I could not even imagine. Like, that's just an awesome, just in general, it's a dream. That would be
what an
such a dream.
opportunity. It's such a-
And
Oh my
the being with the
gosh.
Nets, yes.
Yeah.
But to talk about that, I mean, that was the Nets draft years that they passed on Kobe, and then maybe even a bigger mistake this year. I wouldn't want to call that a mistake because they still got a big guy back then. But using their 5 draft picks this year, the Brooklyn Nets, I don't know how I feel about it as a fan of the team. I feel like a lot of it is now a stopgap with the rest of this team that they have going on. A lot of free agents, a lot of guys that do the exact same things. You pick 3 guys that almost do the exact same thing altogether. How did you feel when you saw that the Nets picked 5 guys in the draft on draft night?
I wasn't really surprised that the Nets picked 5 draft picks because it's been intimated to me that the Nets weren't really making any splashes for the next 20 months or so. That's what I heard a couple of months ago from someone in the know, and I think this proves a couple of things. Oklahoma City Thunder winning in a championship this year showed many people that you don't have to have 3 stars in order to win a championship right away. The Lakers were the exception to the rule and were the last exception to the rule in 2020 when they won a championship in the bubble, when they had Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And, some could say Kuzma was the complimentary 3rd star. But teams are building through the draft now. And the guys that they picked up could prove to be promising. If you get 2 out of the 5 guys that end up being someone, you look like a genius. And at the same time, I look at it kind of like baseball. The Yankees built their system through the farm system in the 90s in order to be successful. Yeah, you added A-Rod later, but for the most part, they went through the farm. They went through the farm system and were successful in the 90s by building talent. And I think basketball is taking note the same way.
Yeah, and I think that the Nets have definitely done a very good job building on that talent that they've had through many years. I mean, have you seen much of what the Nets have been doing with their talent, their young talent, and how it has developed into maybe big stars? We see guys like Jared Allen, Karis LeVert might not have been such a big star, but he's a name that has been one of the starters on the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, things like that. Have you seen what the Nets are doing, and do you like the direction that the young guys are going in?
I don't exactly know everything the Nets are doing. What I will say is that when you talk about young talent, a name that stands out to me is Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas benefited from being in the semi-old regime that was Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, James Harden, and learning and growing. And once those guys left, got more playing time, you went through the Jacques Vaughn era, and now you're in a new era where he's kind of has more free reign under Jordy Fernandez. Cam Johnson benefited from being in Phoenix and being part of that trade and coming to Brooklyn. I know that everybody wanted to see any iteration of Dylan Harper as well as Ace Bailey coming to Brooklyn. It just wasn't in the cards. But what I will also say is, in looking at this draft, it makes you wonder if D'Angelo Russell is going to stay or just be that vet that can kind of I don't want to say babysit because they're grown men, but just be a vet that's worth staying around for. I know that D'Angelo Russell loves Brooklyn, loves the Nets, and is glad to be back. But you're also looking at other pieces like Nick Claxton, and you just wonder if those guys are gonna want to leave or they want to stay and be part of that process.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it a little bit before too. Nets kind of need guys who want to be on the Nets. Just with how everything has been going for them. But I think when you look at the other New York team too, just to switch it to the Knicks really quick, they don't have a head coach right now. That's obviously one of the most glaring issues. It's been almost a month. I'm curious kind of where you see, a lot of these head coach rumors, and who should the Knicks be looking at, if you have any opinions on that?
Well, I still do. I will stand by the fact that Jason Kidd would be a perfect fit in New York. However, he did not get permission to interview with the Knicks, and so I really do think that both Mike Brown and James Borrego, an assistant coach with the New Orleans Pelicans, he interviewed for the Charlotte Hornets position last year. I think James Borrego would definitely be a good fit. But I think Mike Brown has more of a championship pedigree, and his resume is just a bit longer as a head coach. I think he got done a raw deal and a disservice in Sacramento and how he was let go. And I think that he is looking for some redemption. I also believe that Lloyd Pierce, who's an assistant with the Indiana Pacers, is someone who deserves another at least interview, if not another head coaching position. The Indiana Pacers came out of nowhere, and he's definitely a strong voice in that Pacers locker room with Tyrese Halliburton, Miles Turner, and others. But the names that I'm actively hearing are Mike Brown, James Borrego, as well. I am a firm believer that Mike Malone deserves another shot. However, some may argue that bringing in Mike Malone would be like bringing Tibbs in again, and maybe there's a different voice that needs to be heard in that Knicks locker room.
Interesting. Yeah, I wanted to focus more specifically on the draft. The Nets ended up going with 5 picks. Who is your favorite, and what do you think they're going to bring to this team once developed by the Nets?
That's a good question. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know much about them going into the draft.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you that the thing that kind of frustrated me, and just looking on social media, quite candidly, was some of the anti-Semitism that was being spread on social media because of one of the picks that they got, and that was kind of disheartening to hear. So I think that was something that kind of diverted my attention to who the picks were. I realized that was quite historic, the fact that they got 5 first-round picks. I can't think of the last time that that's been done, but I'll be very honest with you. I did like the pick of Igor because I like flashy guards or flashy guys under or close to 6'10", that can make things happen. But I'll be honest with you, when I started talking to you guys about D'Angelo Russell, and I told you that I wondered whether or not he'd come back based upon who they got, Nolan Traore was the guy that they got at point guard at 6'5", if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
As I was, looking at that, I started thinking about the old New Jersey Nets days with Zoran Planicic, and people were talking back then about, what that would look like as a 6'8" point guard backing up. I believe at the time Jason Kidd was the point guard who was 6'4". The Nets are looking at a lot of tall guys, and that kind of, to me, exemplifies just positionless basketball that they're adapting to in today's NBA. Looking at Denver's, looking at Oklahoma's, looking at Indiana's, and they're looking to compete and build young. And I also think that may actually create a level of elasticity for the front office for the Nets, particularly for Sean Marks. Sean Marks has been around the Nets for a long time and has, outlasted the Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant days, and where there was a lot more pressure. And I think going young will actually extend his lifetime with the Nets because they're building. So I did like what they did at point guard, and I like that they got a wing who can pass and Igor Demin as well.
Break my heart if D'Angelo Russell ends up leaving. I think that these draft picks probably showed that D'Lo's probably going to be gone in free agency. I think that it's just now that it's just kind of over, that they don't need him anymore. But for my last pick, not my last pick, I think too much of the draft. For our last question to you, Brandon, I wanted to ask you a quick question about NIL. Guys like Ace Bailey really existed but didn't really exist before NIL, where a lot of guys were really coming to the NBA because they needed the money to be in the NBA. Ace Bailey now, because he makes money in college, doesn't really need the money from the NBA, and because of that case, he scares teams like the Philadelphia 76ers who draft VJ Edgecombe, who were thinking about drafting Ace Bailey. Is this a thing that will ruin the NBA draft? Guys that are just going to select where they want to go?
I think that's such a tough question to answer, and there's a duality to my answer for this reason. I know a lot of people say that NILs are going to destroy or could destroy college basketball and the NBA, but we've seen this before just with no money attached. In the 90s and the 2000s and even in the 80s, when guys were going to college, they were getting money. They just weren't doing it within a system. And now there's a system in place where guys can take care of themselves, take care of their families, and have some stability before making it to the next level. What's the difference between someone who is a college player that has an NIL deal and, say, a Leonardo DiCaprio or Macaulay Culkin, who are making money on Growing Pains and Home Alone before they're 18 years old?
It's true.
The only difference is the fact that one is playing basketball and one is a child actor, but they both have talent. And I think that the NIL deal makes the legalities of kids no longer making money under the table and actually making money because they realize what their worth is. And I think that it's just been a situation where bigger business and the talent have found a way to legalize what big business has been doing on the other side, underhanded, for years. And I think knowing your worth, you guys are probably hip-hop fans. That line from Drake, know yourself, know your worth, is really existing in real time. And some people have a problem with it.
Well, I couldn't agree more about that. I was a very big proponent of NIL when it first got introduced. I think it's very fair for these college athletes to be paid. But thank you so much for joining us, Brandon Robinson, Scoop B, everybody. Thank you so much yet again, providing such great insight on the draft and everything else. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank
Yes,
you.
thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity to be myself, and keep shining, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Well, that was Scoop B, Brandon Robinson.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Awesome.
Great
Very
insight.
good. Very good insight.
Very
Yeah.
good insight. I mean, we heard enough about the Nets. I mean, we talked a lot about it just in that little segment. I mean, I'm still kind of that's why I'm rubbing my face. I'm still kind of upset about it. I don't know really. I don't know. I
I
just
think he had a really good take on it, though.
Yeah.
that's what I think they're doing.
Yeah.
But building young.
Hopefully you are able. I mean, we were just talking about it a little bit with the Thunder, like talking about developing guys.
Yeah.
I think it's something that a lot of teams need to do.
Yeah.
And so maybe the Nets can be one of these first teams to try
They
and
can be
take
the
these young guys
example
from
of
the
that.
draft.
So they
Yeah.
have developed their talent well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never. Everyone
I mean,
always
Cam
says
Thomas is a great example of
Yeah.
that.
the best
True.
example I can even have is Jared Allen. Jared Allen
Yeah.
was the starting center on one of the championship favorite teams this year. They didn't go all the way, the Cavaliers, but Jared Allen, when he was on the Nets, he was almost an all-star.
Mm-hmm.
Guys like D'Angelo Russell broke out with the Nets. I mean,
True.
just overall, they've been good at what they do in developing players, but
You need to
just
keep
so many players to develop now. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
you have unrestricted free agents. You have Day'Ron Sharp, who's been really good. You have Cam, who has to get re-signed. You have Zaire Williams, who was very good this year. Guys under contract. You have Claxton. You just traded for Terrence Mann. Why? Who knows? Dariq Whitehead, who's very, very good. One of the top players from the draft. He was the top player in high school, and he's on the Nets right now, and he's been developing really well. But how much playing time is Dariq Whitehead going to get now, or Noah Clowney going to get now that you have Ben Scarf, Noah, I can't even say his name. Oh, my God. Traore.
Yeah.
Danny Wolf, Igor Denham. You have guys that are taking, like, guys like Whitehead are long guards.
Mm-hmm.
They're big dudes. And now you're developing another rookie who's a big dude. How much are the Long Island Nets going to really, like, it's great that the Long Island Nets might win another championship, but we don't need that.
Yeah.
We need to help develop the young guys. And I might be really not seeing the forest from the trees right now. But in my mind, I'm just thinking, what could have been?
Yeah.
Derek Queen, maybe.
Yeah.
Liam McNeely, maybe not the best, but Ace Bailey trading up, maybe taking the Jazz's pick. You had 5 of them. You could have given up 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just more curious as to why they went for what kind of seems like, when looking at not only their stats but their highlights, very similar players.
So
They went for very similar players. Yegor Demon is great, but he resembles
best passer in the draft.
Best passer in the draft.
Russian
They took
Ben
4.
Simmons.
They took 4 of the best passers in the draft, but none of them can score.
So what I think they're doing is trying to do what I've been saying a lot in the NBA season, is having 2 very capable big men at all points. And now this is their time to find their capable big men.
Yeah.
Because they have 5 of them. They have a starting 5 of big men
Yep.
right now that can play different positions. They're trying to find 2 capable big men or 3 capable big men that can pick and roll, they can pass the ball, and they could score. None of the guys they drafted could score. Can I tell you the
But
guys who
they're
can?
all huge.
Can I tell you the guys who can score that already on the Nets that can do it?
Go for it.
Nick
Kurt.
Claxton, Day'Ron Sharp. Day'Ron
Yep.
Sharp has been great from scoring this season. He's been
Mhm.
very good. He's been hitting his threes, which for a big guy doesn't really happen that often. I mean, now it happens a lot more. But that's my point. It's just there's so much right now that I don't understand. And to another thing I don't understand that we can quickly get to, Yang Hansen. The Blazers take Yang Hansen at 16. Where was he taken?
Is
at?
16,
Yang
yep.
Hansen
You
was
said
taken-
they take who?
That's my point.
Oh,
Stephen.
wait.
Hi, I'm interested
we're getting
in
a
you as a person. What are some of your interests, and what do you think you'd be doing if you weren't playing basketball?
Sometimes I sleep, all time sleep, and I like play PS5, and I like eat.
Likes to eat.
Hey, just like me.
I mean, that's
He's just
me
like
as a person.
most
I'm just not an
relatable
NBA
frat
player.
pick.
Actually,
Yeah.
I think Yang Hansen, taken at 16, I really think that he is a very relatable guy, and I think he's actually going to be really good.
I mean, he climbed so much. Nobody
don't
had
actually
him
think-
going this high.
I don't actually think that he was climbed that high. I think that people just didn't realize that the NBA teams had him on such a high echelon because he can do everything.
Yeah.
If you watched his highlights, bro, we're talking about watching Yang Hansen highlights on TikTok right now.
The
I'm
Yang
watching
Hansen
Chinese
edits
basketball.
are crazy.
I'm watching
you
Chinese
guys.
basketball on Instagram Reels right now. This is awesome.
Yeah.
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 I mean, I think it's a good pick.
I
For
don't-
sure.
I don't think it's a bad pick.
great pick. But I don't. But nobody was expecting it.
No.
Definitely.
I don't
like,
think-
he wasn't on any NBA fans' radar, really.
I don't think so at all.
Yeah.
And I think that this might just be a really down the line. He becomes one of the better players in
Yeah.
this draft.
But he sounds lovely.
Another guy that could be one of the better players in this draft, Dylan Harper.
Oh yeah.
He's going to be pretty good. I know
He's a
he's taken
star.
really high, but I think
Yep.
that he's going to be very good, and I think he's not taken as seriously
Mhm.
as Cooper Flag is.
No.
But I think that Dylan Harper
He
will
could be Rookie of the Year.
I don't know.
I
maybe,
see right here. We're going so early right now, you guys. So
Here
early.
It is.
So early. Dylan Harper is going to be the Rookie of the Year.
You know what? Let's
I'm
go.
saying
lock
that
that
right
in.
now.
Let's go around the table. Let's say our Rookie of the Year.
It's way too early.
Doesn't
way
matter.
too early. But
Doesn't matter.
still, I'm
Let's
going
say
with
our
him.
let's say our Rookies of the Year,
Mm-hmm.
and then let's wrap this segment up.
Yeah.
Gabby.
I like Dylan Harper. I think that's a good pick. I also think number 2. I feel it, I will go Cooper Flag. I think a lot of the hype around
taking
him
the easy
is
pick.
I'm going the easy
Overrated.
pick.
No, he's
Come
so
on.
good. He's
Well,
so
he's,
good.
He's
He
number
is.
1 for a reason. Come on.
Exactly. I totally agree.
Hey, Dallas, 2 number 1 picks. I think they got a good system going. I want whatever Dallas is on right now.
I wish. You know what? I'm really between Fears and Coward.
Alright.
Cedric Coward and
Okay.
Jemai.
Cedric
What do
Coward
you got
was
going
my
on back there,
Cedric
Joe?
Coward was my standout for the draft.
I think Cedric
I
Coward
really
might be
like
the Rookie
him.
of the Year.
I really like him.
I
It's
think
possible.
That's a
Cedric
pick, too.
Coward.
That's a good pick.
He has.
What about
too.
Ace Bailey?
Nah.
I love Ace Bailey.
No.
I said this the other night. I said this on draft night. I love Ace Bailey. I
I'm not a-
love Dylan Harper. I love Ace Bailey.
I'm not
They're
a
my
big-
2 favorites in the draft.
Speaking
I know
from a
he
Rookie of the Year
had
perspective, I feel
pretty-
like Bailey is the best situation to put up big numbers.
true.
I think the best
Yeah.
He's
numbers.
the most natural player in the
Underrated.
draft.
Cedric
100%.
Coward.
say.
Cedric Coward, I think, has the biggest situation where he can do whatever he wants, because he will do whatever he wants, and I think that he's going to be very good. Let's see. I don't know. I really don't know. The Nets on the athletic rating is the 26th rank as draft for their first round pick.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? We'll see how that goes. Maybe
Yeah.
Igor Denham will be the first. Will be the
The Rookie of the
Rookie
Year.
of the Year. I
No,
forgot
that would
what
be
to say.
something.
Yeah.
That
You
would-
never know
That
what
would
happens.
set you up for your
never know.
2027
2027.
2027 success.
Oh, boy.
It will.
It
Oh,
would.
boy.
And now we have a very special segment coming up. We have our next W segment hosted by Gabby Price, one of our Liberty beat reporters. Stay tuned for that. Do not touch your browser because this is one-on-one on WFUV Sports.
Hi, my name is Ryan Rucco, WFUV class of 2008. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One-on-One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
You're listening to WFUV, New York.
Welcome back to WFUV Sports One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. And if you ever want to call in to New York Sports' longest-running, that doesn't... Again, words are hard, man. Don't look at me.
It's always the same
Don't look at me.
sentence, too. You're doing so good, except for that
I know.
one sentence.
I can't make it out. 718-817-2750. That's 718-817-2750. Coming up, we have Yankee tickets to give away.
There you go.
So if you're listening, call in for those Yankee tickets. Now, we're at Barclays Center. We're talking the most exciting team in the entirety of New York. It's Liberty, New York Liberty. And we got Gabby Price, our Liberty beat reporter, hosting this segment. Gabby, take it away.
Hey, I'm sitting across the table from another one. This will be a good segment right now.
Man, this
And-
team is exciting.
Hey, this is best team in New York. And it honestly, I have to stop looking at Liberty Twitter because there's a lot of haters out there, and it makes me sad.
There's a lot of WNBA haters.
There's
of the
so
Liberty.
just a
many.
lot of
Have you guys seen the ones
haters.
where it's like New York hasn't won a real championship in no. Yes, we have last year, guys.
But I also think that like
Last year.
the WNBA community for some reason hates the Liberty. I don't get it.
Well,
Is it because
the
we're? Is it because they're too
well,
good?
the WNBA
I-
community
honestly,
all hate each other.
They do.
Which is so upsetting and disappointing.
They do,
It feels
but-
like it should be filled with love for everybody because it is such an
the
important
thing
sport. And
is,
it's like
it
so
is.
new and revolutionary, and it is. But at the same time, you're like, why does everyone hate everybody?
I think it's weird because it's one of the most inclusive leagues when you talk about
Yes.
professional sport leagues. I think at the same time, it within the league itself, between teams and players, I think. And then just from people who don't know the
Yeah.
W at all,
Yep.
there's a
That's
lot
probably the biggest
of
issue that they've
drama.
been
Yes.
having.
There's a lot of people
So
who
much
are
drama.
commenting on the W that do not watch the W.
Well,
and so
I-
maybe that's something we can
yeah.
get into in our general NBA segment as well, because
Yes.
there's a lot more teams who are involved in that. I think we can name the Fever as being definitely one right now, and
Yep.
just some of the
I don't
controversies.
think it's their fault.
It's the
To
media.
an
It's
extent,
always
but also
the
it's how the
media.
media
It's the
portrays them,
media.
right? Like,
That's how I
It's the
feel.
media.
we could talk about like the fight and everything in the past
Yeah.
couple of games. So I think the way the media also portrayed
It's
that,
all the
if
media.
that happened in the the
NBA doesn't
men's
get
league, like,
posted.
it's different. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then people
And when
comment,
they
like, why are
do
women
get
fighting like this?
posted, it's about stuff like that. When it's
Right.
drama and the media
Not just good
twisting
basketball.
things, it's not about good basketball.
Because there is
That's
good
the
basketball
thing
being
that's
played
upsetting.
in that game.
There's
like, come on.
so much. The only things that get posted on not ESPNW but ESPN are the moments where there's a fight or there's a big call or someone gets ejected from a game or someone says something about another player that, gets turned into a whole media spectacle, which is just really disappointing as a whole because this is a league that is obviously new. not new, but new in comparatively.
Well, they're getting a lot more media coverage now.
Exactly.
All the
And
games are televised
especially
now.
everything is covered by the media
Liberty,
so much more.
the Liberty, when I'm in that stadium reporting,
Mhm.
every
So
game feels
fun.
like a playoff game.
Seriously,
Yeah.
The last one I was a Tuesday night, I think, or maybe the first one I went to. No, the second one I went to was a Tuesday night. And I remember my dad was asking me, he was like, "Are the games even popular like on a Tuesday night?" Like
Sold out.
Yes.
sold out. It's electric in there.
I used to
It's
go to
electric.
Liberty games in Barclays Center when they didn't open the upper
And now
roof
it's
for-
packed.
And now you can't buy a ticket for less than like $70 to go to a Liberty game.
It's so fun.
You used to,
It's
sit, you used to be able to sit
fun.
courtside at Liberty for like $20.
And
I
now
remember
Coco Gauff
that.
is there.
I know.
Oh
It's
my god! When I
amazing.
was there and Coco Gauff was there,
You
I
were
mean,
there
my
at the
tennis.
same time?
Yes,
Oh
guys.
my
I saw
Yes,
Jackie. I
guys.
saw
Guys,
Jackie
I love
Chan.
Coco Gauff.
Ooh.
What?
Jackie Chan was there. They kept asking them questions about Jackie Chan.
Wow,
It was really funny. He was
that's
tossing
awesome.
T-shirts and stuff.
Coco Gauff was sitting next to the Bryant family, and
That's
I
really
was just
cool.
like, wow. It was
That's so
starstruck
cool.
for so many reasons.
Mhm.
It's crazy because it's like you see Sabrina Ionescu right there, you see Stewie, you see
Yep.
JJ, and then like these other huge stars walk in. I'm
Yep.
like, this is
Yeah.
really the perks of joining your student radio station.
Yeah.
So anyone out
You
there,
should do it.
Email
Join-
Bobby C at WFUV.org if you
Yeah.
come
ever
on
are
over to
interested.
Fordham.
If you're
Come
ever
on over to
interested in
Fordham.
WFUV, we have a lot of opportunities. But
But
Back to
let's
the W,
get a
back
little
to the
bit
Liberty.
more into this Liberty team. They are currently 11-4 right now. I think after last night, they're on, some may say, is a little bit of a dry spell in the season right now. Somehow this is a theme with many of the New York sports teams, but I don't think that this dry spell for the Liberty. First, I think it's coming at a good time. Second, it's because they just have a lot of absences in their starting lineup.
Yeah.
When their starting lineup is fully there and not and healthy, they're probably the best team in the W. And I think when you talk about a dynasty, I think the Liberty is set up in a way that they
they're a
could be that
dynasty.
again.
They're a dynasty.
Yeah.
They are. But when you have Jonquil Jones in and out because of her ankle, she's out for another couple weeks after re-injuring her ankle after coming back from an injury, which, she's a key rebounder and scorer for this team, so they're definitely missing her. Sabrina Ionescu has had a couple tough games that we can talk about with, she also has been in and out with, I think, some neck tightness, but out for injury as well. And then you have Fibic playing over in Europe for the Eurobasket, competing for Germany. So she also has not been here.
I still think that's crazy that some people choose
Like,
Eurobasket because
also coming from the Liberty?
Yeah.
Marine Johannes had the
Yeah,
opportunity
she
to
did,
go
and
play
she
for
didn't go.
France.
And thank goodness she didn't.
No, that would have been
Could you
bad.
imagine? I think they're 4 out of the 6 games they've lost, which is kind of unheard of for the Liberty. If they didn't have her, that you probably looking at 5 or 6 out of those
Yeah.
6.
Oh yeah, easily because
Easy.
she's just been so impactful. The game I was at against the Dream, she was plus 23.
Ooh.
Plus 23 when she was.
She's
on the
awesome.
floor.
I love her.
She-
I
yeah.
think she's such a good bench player for this team.
Yeah. I mean, I think also with this, losing 4 games thing, everyone's like, no, what's going on with the Liberty? Because they've been so good and they were, they started out the season winning 9-0. So people have high expectations for them.
I thought they were going to be perfect.
I thought so too. So seeing them
I'm so
lose was like,
disappointed.
oh
I wanted
my
them
gosh,
to get to
what's
10.
going on?
I
Me
knew
too.
they wouldn't get perfect because even last year, I
10 would've
remember
been great.
being on either, let me drop another podcast plug, All In, our women's sports
Yes,
podcast.
the best podcast.
Check it out. But I remember being on that, maybe being on 101 too, and they also had a little losing streak. I think later in August, though. I think
They
it was
did take
right
a little
before.
dive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was another thing where they obviously that did not affect them. They were the 2024 WNBA champions.
Yeah.
So I think this is a team, to your point, that when they do go into these, these losing streaks, they come back.
They're gonna.
They're better
This is
than
not
this.
an
They can bounce
issue
back.
for them.
And the other thing,
Yeah.
and we can get a little more specific in a couple minutes, but I think you are also looking at a lot of other teams in the W who are getting better and who have gotten
Absolutely.
talent and who are playing better together and are giving the Liberty more of a run for their money, and maybe tougher than, they're playing tougher teams than they maybe were
Yeah.
earlier in the season, which is why they're facing tough competition and they haven't had a 20-point win in a couple weeks.
It also feels like last year they were kind of in a league of their own.
Yeah.
It felt like even when they lost, they were always on top. And this year, there's suddenly teams that last year, for example, the Dream, we're going to get more into this later, but the Dream were a team that did not play well last year, and now they're having a surprisingly good season. No one was really expecting. Same with the Mercury, and the Lynx are number one in the entire W right now. So they're suddenly surrounded by teams that are a little bit more competitive, and they're still holding their own. So that makes me feel good about this team.
Those games that the Liberty are coming to play against Minnesota are going to be really fun.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only
Yeah.
one game that there's 2 games that, sorry, let me rephrase myself. 2 games in August and July that they play against Minnesota, and that's on ABC and ESPN, those games. So those are going to be really electric, because the last time that they met, the Liberty knocked them out of
Yeah.
the playoffs. And that's a big deal, because not only right now, these 2 teams are on a collision course for maybe one of the best seasons in WNBA history.
Yeah.
And I think if the Liberty have complete health all around them, I don't see a world where they lose again.
Yeah.
I mean, having Sabrina Ionescu, having Jonquil Jones, who arguably might be the best rebounder and scorer, big person just in the league. I'm not sure. I think she's the best big man in the league.
I would agree
I
with
would say
that.
she's the best all-around player. Definitely on the Liberty. In my opinion, she's the offensively and defensively combined. She's the best player you're seeing.
The only person I
maybe
could think
in the
of,
entire W.
the only person I could think of that might be better than her is maybe Brittany Griner.
Yeah,
And Brittany Griner
She's great.
made had a big loss against the Liberty
Yeah.
when the Dream played them. I
Yeah.
was there. That was one of the things I wanted to bring up just a little bit more in the segment was that this Liberty team is poised.
Yeah.
They're championship caliber
Yeah.
in every category of
Every
the
single
word.
one.
Because I thought they were done. When I was watching that Dream game, the Liberty Dream, and they were down by 30, I think it was at halftime.
Yeah,
I said
something
to
like
myself,
that. Maybe.
I said to myself, I was like, this is over. I was like, there's no way the Liberty come back.
And yet,
at the last second, I'm watching this and I'm like, whoa. Because Brianna Stewart starts to
Yeah.
go. You have
it was
Johanna
insane.
starts
I was
to
watching
go.
The game at home.
Yeah.
Sabrina Ionescu starts to go. And when those people are clicking, I don't see a team that can beat them. Because
no.
I can't name a player on the Lynx that I think I can't name the squad on the Lynx that I think can compete with the Liberty, let alone a player that can one-on-one compete with Brianna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, Jonquil Jones, and whoever the Liberty want to put in their starting 5. Natasha Cloud is another person who is so impactful to this Liberty team, and we talked about this before, Gabby, that Natasha Cloud fairly has been mid over the last few games. She's not been that good. But in her first game with the Liberty, she was,
she was fantastic.
22 points.
Yeah, she was averaging 20 points at one point. Double maybe?
Multiple blocks, rebounds, and steals and assists. That's insane. Those are insane stat lines, and that's what she came to the Liberty for. I just don't see a world, and this might just be glaze of our favorite basketball team, but I think the Liberty go back to back and win again. I also just think that this is just a spell in the season that isn't just good.
Yeah. I think it's a good spot. I think you have a lot of good people coming off the bench right now. I think at full health, like you just said, I think this is a pretty unbeatable team. And as long as you have Brianna Stewart kind of holding it down in the midst of this, time of uncertainty, some may say, I think that this is a team we can see competing through the rest of the season and into the championship, let alone that they weren't in the Commissioner's Cup. They did not make it as far as they wanted to in that. But
that game that they played against the Dream was a Commissioner's Cup game that they ended up winning.
Yeah.
And that's why
that is true.
I don't know. I don't see another team that can beat them. I just don't.
Yeah.
No.
They just have to be healthy.
At this point,
They have to be healthy, and they have to have everyone
point,
back.
The only team I could see beating them would be the Lynx, and that's that's another finals matchup.
Never
maybe.
happening. Not happening.
And
But I don't know. But
hear
I
me out
have
on-
so much faith in this Liberty team. Another example is Kennedy Burke off the bench.
Great.
We talked about Kennedy
we talked
Burke
about her.
in
I've
All
been
In.
loving her. She's
awesome, right? Kennedy Burke.
She's so fun.
great, and she's really stepping up for a team that needs her right now, especially with Jones out. And
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
I've loved her since the beginning of the season. She's been amazing.
Gardner, Johannes, you have so many
Yes,
people who are kind of
so many
making
people
their
that are making it
impact
happen.
during this time. So
Yeah.
it's really good to see. And the Liberty's depth is something that we've talked about, as long as we've talked about the Liberty
Yep.
and as long as they've been
There's
winning.
no other way that you could talk about it. It's
I
just
mean,
that
they're-
good.
it's insane. I will say, the Liberty have been losing, so there are teams who can beat them and take advantage of them while they do have injuries. So, it's not they're not fully in a league of their own. We've talked about how the Mercury and the Lynx are kind of giving them a run for their money. I would also argue that the Fever is someone that they need to watch out for.
No.
No?
Nah.
No.
I think those two games that they have coming up will be good
Do
ones.
you really think?
I mean, they beat
I
them
have-
once, but I'm also saying
That was a way. I will say,
Like,
coming back in Barclays will be
once we're
different.
getting to playoffs, I don't think they
I'll give you
stand a
this.
The
chance
Fever?
in
that's-
playoffs.
I'll give you this.
games.
Sophie Cunningham, Natasha Howard have been really good for this Fever team.
That's what
Has been really good for this Fever
Caitlin dropped
team.
30 the other day.
I know. Caitlin's legendary, but
Yeah.
it's not only Caitlin Clark is the issue with
Yep.
this Fever team. It's that because you could just shut down Caitlin Clark, and everyone else is going to
Aaliyah
start hooping.
Boston. Aaliyah
Another
Boston.
name that's awesome.
Oh my gosh, she's
Yep, yep,
unbelievable.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's but I still don't see them in the long term. If we're looking at a healthy Liberty team, I don't see them.
Yeah,
beating
no,
Liberty.
I was just throwing that name
no,
out
yeah.
there to say.
Her and I are like,
you know,
no.
that got shut down.
No.
But we'll take a couple minute break, and we'll be back on the other side to talk a little bit more about the Fever, to talk a little bit more about General W. So we'll be right back with more of that on the other side of this break.
Hi, this is Spiro Ditas, WFUV class of 2001. WFUV is the epicenter of Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, men's and women's basketball, and of course, our iconic Saturday show, One on One. So keep your radios locked in right here, 90.7 FM, for all things WFUV sports.
Hi, this is Michael Kay, WFUV class of 1982. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One on One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV Sports.
And we're back. Perfect intro to the segment. It's so good.
It is awesome.
Good.
It's so
The
good.
Liberty Fight song.
It's so
I had to
good.
play that.
Hey, get Ellie in here.
We
We,
gotta get-
love Ramses. We need Ellie the elephant
Both of
in
them.
here
both
now.
of them.
Supposedly they're friends.
friends
Did you guys
now.
see that?
Yeah, I
You
did.
You saw all those pictures?
Let's get her to.
Yeah. I
They're
love
friends?
them together.
Why?
Yeah.
They're
Why?
besties.
They're friends.
Didn't know that. I didn't know
Let's
Ellie
get
had
her
the
to Rose
elephant
Hill.
head.
Ramses was invited to her birthday and
I know.
Oh
it was
I didn't know-
wonderful. I loved seeing that.
I didn't know
Yeah.
Ellie had a birthday either, so I saw
What
that.
do you mean?
Of course.
I'm-
Of course she has a birthday,
Of course
Kurt.
she's a birthday.
I forgot. I didn't
Ellie, She's an
realize.
elephant.
I know.
Ellie's the elephant.
Ellie,
Like, of
Ellie's
course.
arguably probably the best mascot in sports.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Other
Best
than the
mascot
other
ever,
than the
maybe.
Suns gorilla. I really
That's
like the
pretty
Sun.
good.
I
That's
really
pretty
like
good.
the Suns gorilla and the
But-
Pelicans baby. Y'all know the Pelicans baby? Pelicans baby's really funny.
That's pretty good. But then, dude, those
I love
mascots
Ellie.
dance like Ellie does.
Ellie
Ellie
gets
gets
the Suns gorilla.
Get down.
Yeah,
The
Ellie
Suns-
knows how
The
to
two
party.
of them,
The Sun-
that made sense for them to be friends because they're so similar.
See,
So
I'll tell you. I'll tell you this. They can't dance.
Are you showing us the baby? Oh my god. That's terrifying.
Suns baby, the Pelicans baby.
No.
No,
no.
my
no,
That's
no, no.
scary.
the Suns gorilla dunks.
That's pretty good.
The Suns gorilla
I
dunks.
mean-
Suns gorilla is
But
pretty
that
cool.
that makes sense for that.
Lucky the
league, though.
Leprechaun also dunks.
Who cares?
Because it's literally
Preach,
just
Joe,
an Irish guy.
who
preach.
cares?
Could
Who
be-
cares? Joe?
Let-
Who cares?
Yeah.
Can we get
We're
back
talking
to the
about
Some
W-
dead
WNBA.
air
Can we
right
get back to
now,
the WNBA? No one
actually.
cares about Lucky the Leprechaun.
Sorry.
I do.
Get out
Yes.
get out of
See,
get out
We're
of
sorry,
talking
the,
a little
about the
louder
W
next
right
time.
now.
get out of the studio. We only have respect for one mascot here, and it's Ellie the elephant, and also the Suns gorilla. Because I really
And
like the
also
Suns gorilla.
Ramses. Can we
And
throw
Ramses.
Ramses?
Forgot about
in there,
Ramses.
too?
We can take Ramses.
Ramses
Please.
is wonderful.
We love
Ramses is
Ramses.
wonderful.
We love
All right.
Ramses.
But yeah, all right, we're back.
But yeah.
On that, that's a little bit of a tough transition there, but I wanted to let's get into a little bit more of these other teams in the W. We talked about the Liberty a lot, and they'll come back up again, I'm sure. It's hard to stay away from them, but I want to revisit a conversation about the Indiana Fever. This is a team that has made a lot of headlines recently, and I think they deserve a lot of it, but it also, personally, it's getting a little much for me.
I agree with you. I think that a lot of what we see from the media about the WNBA is always just what goes on when it comes to
The
Fever.
Caitlin
teams like the
Clark.
Fever, the Sky.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I think that it becomes a little bit awkward because there are so many new fans of the WNBA.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're gonna talk about the Valkyrie, and I want to
Yeah.
dive into some statistics with that because they're really
Yeah.
cool.
They're so cool.
But you can't make new fans be kind of like killing each other over this stuff because there's room for everybody.
There
I
is.
think that's one of the big deals. There's room for everybody in this league. To say that there's not is ridiculous. And don't get me wrong, it's professional sports, so competition rules. The media is going to have their sound bites and quotes.
Of course.
But all we're chasing is Caitlin Clark gets pushed.
Yeah.
We're chasing W fight,
Yeah.
which is like for the NBA. If that happens, it's a
Just
post on
another
sport.
day.
It's the post
Yeah.
on Sports Center, and that's it.
Yeah.
For the WNBA,
Not even a post on Sports Center. It
sometimes
I mean,
barely.
sometimes.
if
Yeah.
it's a big one, but we're talking about like fights that
Yeah,
are just
they-
people
they shoved each
arguing,
other.
or you get one shove, one foul, or not even a foul.
I don't
and,
even think
and
they
then
did
it's
get
Good basketball.
I don't even think they
good
did get
basketball play.
fouled.
No, on the big one with, the Sun and the Fever,
Yeah.
the one that went crazy viral,
Yeah.
that was, neither of them got fouled
Yeah.
until Sophie Cunningham was the only one that got fouled.
But my point is just that we've treated a lot of what goes on is people treating women's basketball like it's some kind of family friendly sport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is
yes.
I've been on
It's
this hill
such a
for a
mistake.
while. It's just that people think that it's because they're women. It's like women's basketball is not the same thing.
right.
But they're
But it's
they are
the
fierce
same
competitors.
thing.
They're fierce competitors. They want to win at any means necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And if that means a hard foul, it means
That's
a hard
what it
foul.
is.
That's all it
That's
is.
what it is.
Being pushed on a foul is not like a big deal. It happens in the NBA
Yeah.
all the time. It happens
Yeah.
in college hoops all the time. Because Caitlin Clark slapped in front of it, and I do not want to make this into a
No.
Caitlin Clark is a bad for the WNBA. Caitlin Clark's an enemy.
No.
No.
It's just ridiculous that you have to keep on keeping on with this stuff because it doesn't
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
sense to me. Just none of it makes sense.
None of it makes sense,
No.
and I think it's the opposite of that. Clark is great for the W.
Yep.
She's increased viewership so much. She's a great player. It's like she's a good basketball player, and the W needs players like that. But the attention, the type of media that they're putting out about her is not what the W needs.
And I think it's
Yeah.
very
It needs to be focused.
it's very
on that these are
anti-
good basketball players.
it's very anti what probably even Caitlin Clark wants to be covered
Oh,
on.
Yeah.
it is. I
it's
mean, she's spoken
basically
about it.
all just people bullying Caitlin Clark and them getting.
She's never
you
allowed
know,
to be just a
she's
basketball player.
Exactly.
No,
It's
no.
like she's this little doll that everyone wants to hold and never let anybody touch her.
Well, and she's been given so much responsibility
Yes.
for this
And so people are
increase
keeping
of
her
of
course.
as
the
this
W,
very
and that's just too much
fragile
pressure for one
idea.
person to have.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird back in
Oh,
the
yeah,
WNBA
yeah,
in
yeah.
the NBA days, back when the NBA was failing. I mean, these
Yeah,
guys
the
are
Angel
these
days.
guys have the big eyes on them because they are the big stars.
Yeah.
Sabrina Ionescu competed in the All-Star competition 3-point contest with Stephen
Yeah.
Curry.
Yep.
They have the eyes on them.
Yep.
They know the eyes and the pressure. The expectation that Caitlin Clark is going to be some the expectation of Caitlin Clark is different because a lot of it is just I watch the WNBA to watch Caitlin Clark, and
Yeah.
you know what? That's fine. But people are staying because they're realizing how much good hoops there
Mhm.
are.
Yes.
There's reasons why teams like the Valkyrie are selling out
Mm-hmm.
full season memberships. There are reasons
In
why
the first
the-
year.
the Liberty
Yeah.
are selling out their stadium every night they
Every
play
year.
home at Barclays Center.
Yeah.
I don't see an empty seat.
No.
There's reasons for this, and it's because Caitlin Clark brought eyes to the WNBA.
Mhm. Yes.
That's undeniable. That's true. But people came to see Caitlin Clark and stayed for Kelsey Plum. They stayed for Sabrina Ionescu. They stayed for everybody that they know how good they are and what the
Paige Becker.
Paige
You
Beckers.
see her now on the wings. Next year, you're going to see Juju Watkins. Like,
Exactly.
talking about the draft class, when we were talking about the NBA draft class, it was also making me think about the W draft class because you saw, at least 5 players who stayed in college for
College,
NIL.
yep.
But so there's so many, all those players are household names as well. So you're going to see them come to the W and make it even better and get on teams who will then make more runs like the Valkyries. And, the Wings aren't having a great season this year, but it's what happened to the Fever last year. They had Clark, and now they're 8-8 this year, which is
playoff spot.
awesome.
Playoff spot.
But it's pretty good, and they've had big wins. They've had big wins over the Liberty, and so I think you're just going to keep seeing the league progress like that, which is really fun. And
Awesome. I just hope there's a change in the media coverage of all of it.
Never will happen.
It
I
will
was
not
gonna say,
happen. I just
It's
I wish it
headlines
would.
and clicks.
I wish
Yeah.
it were more about the actual basketball the way it is with
If you
the
want.
NBA.
If you want to hear about actual basketball, our very own Lou Orlando now writes for Sports Illustrated
Yes.
for the W coverage.
Yeah.
And the
Plug.
Goose.
And Nick Guzman. I almost forgot about Nick. I've been reading a lot of their stuff to actually even prep for tonight.
absolutely.
They talk real good basketball in Sports Illustrated, just to
Yeah.
shout them out really quick because we're
Yep.
talking about the W and their coverage.
Plug them. But hey, I like to think that our coverage is pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I think following Gabby Price and Kurt Sippel on Twitter
I think it's
is a
good
pretty
move.
good idea if you want to have W coverage, just
Absolutely.
because of how good our W coverage has been. I don't want to.
I mean,
I
I'm
don't want
not
to pat ourselves
biased,
on the
but
back, but I think we're pretty good at it.
yeah,
I think we're
yeah,
doing pretty
we do
good
a
stuff.
job. I
think
think
we're doing
we're
pretty good
changing. I think we're changing the media narrative in W. And
One Twitter post at a
Guys,
time.
they're
Gabby.
giving the
time.
right media coverage to the W. If you're gonna
Yeah,
follow
yeah.
anybody, you should be following these two, shouting them out.
Give the right people
Sweet
power.
move with
okay?
5 U's.
Exactly. But to even get more into it, if we want to talk about the Valkyries,
Let's do
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I want to, and I want to talk.
you
about
want
the
to break down the
Valkyries.
Valkyries. I know
Yeah.
that. Oh, you want me to
Take
go?
us away. Yeah,
You want me
yeah.
to go first? I was like, oh, okay.
Nope.
The Valkyries, I just wanted to say something that was really cool. They've sold out season ticket memberships.
Yep.
And only 7% of each all of their season tickets are Warriors turnovers. So they're not Warriors fans that are going to, well, maybe they are, but
Just a
they're
little.
not Warriors fans that are going to like buy these season tickets that are this. They average full attendance the entire time that they play. They have really exciting players. Kayla Thornton has been really good for them. Tiffany Hayes, really good. Veronica Burton, people like that have made the Valkyries so
Kate
exciting.
Martin.
Made the Valkyries so exciting. They take teams like the Liberty all the way to the edge every time. But what I wanted to just touch on, and I know probably Gabby does too, is just how magical it feels that they have figured out a way to build a team out of nothing.
Yeah.
They built a team out of
of a
scratch.
name.
Nothing.
And
Yep.
you know what they also did? That's the same thing that the Vegas Golden Knights did back in the NHL. Maybe they took a play out of their book. But that's exactly what they did.
Yep.
They figured out how to build a successful basketball team without having to draft anybody or have history or a roster.
Yeah.
They're 8-8. They make the
Yeah.
playoffs in their first season as a WNBA team.
Huge.
That's
Yeah.
just all around impressive.
So impressive.
Impressive. Feels nearly impossible.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to suck.
I
Yeah.
thought they were going to be that bad
I
too.
thought they
Well,
were gonna be
everyone
bad.
was so surprised and confused with the way they went about drafting their team and getting players. And, you know, they kind of removed a lot of players that that people were upset about. But it's turned out to work out really, really well for them. They've got some new players in Kate Martin and Caitlin Chen. They
I was gonna
both
say
had
they took
11 and
Caitlin
10
Chen back.
They took Caitlin Chen back, and it's working out for them.
Yeah.
She
Which
had,
that was surprising that they
Yeah.
dropped her initially
I know.
anyway.
Well, they dropped a few people that everyone was like, wait, what's going on here? But they made some good decisions because this team is doing great
They're doing great.
for such a new team, you know?
for a brand new team,
Yeah.
like you just said, Kurt, it's really impressive, and it's being 8 and 8 and 7, whatever it is.
8 and 7.
You know, the losses that they've had are also not bad losses.
But when they lost to the Liberty, they really shouldn't have lost to the Liberty. You had
yeah, at the
Martin-
most
it was
recent
such
one.
a
Martin
close
had her
game.
had 21 points, her career high. She was 3 for 3 from 3.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, and
And-
only
and-
missed her shots when it mattered. But
Mhm.
you have the Liberty, who are really good.
Yeah,
But
yeah, who do well at the end.
But I think just entirely, like, look at their losses. Los Angeles is a bad loss. I think getting blown out by LA is a really bad loss just because
Yeah.
LA is
They're
kind
not
of
good.
mid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
LA is
yeah,
mid.
no, they're not very good.
And I really like Plum. I think Plum.
She's one of the best in the W.
We were talking
Yeah.
about that earlier in the year, Gabby, pretty
Mhm.
much like a season recap
Yep.
about it, that Plum was going to be the leader of this team. In my opinion, that's just how I feel about it, is Plum is just the number one option because they don't have all of their people back yet.
Yeah.
And Plum did that for a little bit, but then couldn't figure it out after.
Mm-hmm.
You have 2 losses to New York, 2 losses to Minnesota and Phoenix,
Mm-hmm.
and you have another loss from Dallas, which is not a good loss.
The loss to Dallas was the only thing that I was like, damn, they should have won that
And
game.
another loss to the Liberty. So I think
Yeah.
wholeheartedly how I feel about this, moral victory against the Liberty. That's not a W in the stat sheet, but it's a moral victory because I think that it is.
Mhm.
Yes.
You have a loss to Los Angeles, which is bad. That's a deserved loss.
Yeah.
That's You cannot have that.
Yeah.
First team playing together for at once. I understand it.
Yep.
Minnesota, no one loses to Minnesota, it
Yeah,
seems like.
they were-
Minnesota doesn't lose to anybody.
But they beat the Storm, who have been really good this season as
Like
well.
the Storm, too.
That's true.
That's Their wins
I wanna
have
see how
their
they
wins
perform.
and some of their losses have been impressive.
I want to see how they perform against the Dream.
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
That's
That I want to see how they
not
perform
crazy.
against
That
the Dream.
makes sense
No,
to me.
I don't think that's crazy.
I feel like Atlanta is a really good benchmark team. I don't
Yeah.
think
They
they're
are.
very. I don't think Atlanta will
good
make a.
this
I don't think
They're
Atlanta
good
will
this
make a
year.
far run.
No.
Maybe they will. I might be wrong.
But
I think that they.
playoffs.
No,
maybe,
but they're definitely
but
playoff sound.
playoffs. I mean, last year
Yes,
they didn't
yes.
make it.
No,
They
they're
were
making the
near
playoffs.
but didn't. And this year I see them making it.
You don't just add the people that they added for no reason.
Yeah, true.
No.
But I'm trying to figure out who else I can think of.
But
that
they're
would give
playing the
them
Storm
competition.
again tomorrow. That'll be a good game.
That should be a W.
I was gonna say I think they're getting
Hopefully.
better
They are getting better.
as the season gets further.
Yeah.
Storm are 10-6. What am I missing?
The
They're
storm.
good.
The Storm could be a sneaky pick.
They are.
I don't
They're
even remember-
good.
I forget about the Storm.
The
That's why
Storm has
they're
been
sneaky.
doing really
They are.
well.
They are
actually.
very under the radar. The Storm.
Yeah, I mean they beat the Liberty.
Yeah.
It was. I mean they lost to the Fever, but that was kind of a rough game in general. They beat the Lynx. They beat the best team in the W. They beat the Mercury. I mean, the Storm are the kind of team for me where they're good. They're not, number one, number two. They're really good, but they're beating the top teams in the league.
Yeah.
That's a contender for me.
They did just lose to the Connecticut Sun, which
See, that's like-
listen.
What's going on?
I'm a Connecticut native myself. I do have a soft spot in my heart for the Sun.
Stop capping.
But they're awful.
So bad.
But they're awful. And
I mean,
Just
2-14 is rough.
Yeah.
That's
but
a-
then
that's
they beat
rough.
them. So
Yeah, I
listen,
mean,
they come back.
yeah, the
but
Storm are
the-
sneaky. That's a good way to describe them.
I don't see
They
them
are.
winning anything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're gonna
Well, when
win
you-
the finals, but
Yeah.
they might get far in playoffs. It's possible.
Could they get far?
I don't know.
Let me
Who
think
would their
about
opponents
that.
be? Let's think about that first.
Oh,
Because I think then if you're talking about like the Dream or the
They're not
Lynx,
beating the Dream.
Lynx, the
They're
Lynx.
not beating
like,
the Dream.
The Lynx is a
Really?
good team. Like
They're
I
not
don't think
beating the
they're
Dream.
not beating the Lynx.
well,
Why
no,
would
they're
they
not
beat-
beating the Lynx.
Why would they beat the Dream?
I don't know. I think it's possible. I think those are teams that are more like even contenders. Than,
I feel like the Dream, the way that they
know?
rebound and the way that they can shoot threes. When I was at the Liberty game, the Lynx added up for, they've shot, I think, 110 threes over the last 3 games or something like that. They didn't hit all of them, but they shot like a crazy amount of threes for this year. That's impressive. That doesn't really happen for WNBA teams. They even played a very NBA system, I would say, when it comes to their offense, where it becomes try to chuck up as many threes as possible,
Yeah.
hit as many threes as possible. But when you go in contact with a team like the Liberty fully healthy,
Mm-hmm.
or even, I'll even give you like Minnesota, guys like Philadelphia, Phoenix, their defense is so good that they can't get those threes up. That's what the Liberty lacked when they played them the last time. And that's why I don't think that they would be able to compete against a team like Atlanta, because Atlanta would just shoot over them. And I don't think that the Storm have the amount of defense to win against them. Look at the teams that the Storm have lost against already. They lost against Atlanta. They lost against Phoenix. They lost against Golden State. And they lost against Minnesota. Minnesota's an expected loss. We know that. They lost against Indiana, too. Another team that might also be a team that shoots a lot of they do shoot a lot of threes, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yep.
But they also beat half of the teams you're talking about as well.
They
Those
did.
were like, both
They
teams,
did.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
They're
That would be
Again,
actually,
those-
I'm actually
I
seeing
think
I'm
that's
seeing your vision.
the Storm is
I'm
a
seeing the
sneaky
vision.
team.
I'm seeing
They're
the vision.
Sneaky.
Never mind, I'm wrong. I see the
I mean,
vision.
they
I think
beat
that would be
both
fun.
They beat both the Liberty and the
It's
Lynx.
rare that I get
That's-
off my pedestal,
Yeah.
but I'm seeing the
They're-
vision.
They're
Wow.
kind of an up in the air for me, as well as the Dream. I think those two are the kind of teams that are like on the same level. Obviously, right now they have the same record, but on like another level, they seem like teams that would be fun to watch play together in playoffs.
Yeah, I think they're teams that post All-Star break I think the All-Star break could make or shape
Make or
how
break them, yeah.
the rest of their season
Man,
looks,
forgot we have
which
the All-Star break too.
is
We could talk about
coming
quick.
up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Voting actually ends today, which are you guys familiar with how the WNBA All-Star voting works?
Not really. I'm not
It's
super
very
sure.
interesting. Let me inform you. So, the fans vote. Those count for 50%.
Mm-hmm.
The players' choice count for 25%, and the sports media count for 25%.
Do we get a vote?
So,
we sports media?
see,
Oh.
I
I
voted
don't
as a
think-
fan,
I don't think we get a vote.
and I've kind of been voting.
Do we get a vote? You think
Should
we
I
get a
have
vote?
said that live on air?
That's-
No, it doesn't matter.
Moving on.
Joe, do you think we should get a vote?
Me?
No, just the Liberty.
Should
Yeah.
Joe
Joe, have
Henry
you-
get a
Joe,
vote?
You
Joe,
don't want me to have a vote.
you know,
Joe Henry should decide.
do you think?
these
Do you think we
teams.
should get a vote, Bobby?
I just picked Megan McConnell.
That's ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
How does Bobby feel back there? You think me and
Alright.
me and Gabby should have a vote? We are the sports media.
I mean,
Let me ask Bobby right now. Bobby, should we get a vote as media for WNBA All-Star? I'm getting a nod. That's
I
a
think-
big nod.
He's giving a smile and a nod. I think
listen,
WNBA hit us up.
put us in.
Put
charge.
Put us at the WNBA All-Star game. We will do a one-on-one live from the All-Star game.
We'll be there. We'll be there.
Ooh.
Hey,
Let us do it.
let us do it.
Let us
Who's
in.
stopping us?
No one.
I love that
Only
the
ourselves.
players' opinions are included in that. That's awesome.
I know, right? It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But that will just about do it for our WNBA segment. Glad we got to chop it up a little bit. We don't normally do this much W, so this was.
It's always great.
Um,
It's always great to talk W.
It's always a great segment. And another little exciting thing that we'll switch to now, we have the latest from Bobby C. from Indian 60. So you will get this during this break, and we'll be back in a minute to talk some baseball.
Indy in 60. Alex Palou is back in victory lane in IndyCar. The three-time series champion expanded his lead to 93 points over Kyle Kirkwood with a win at Road America, utilizing varying fuel and tire strategies as the season passed its halfway point. So, how much was left in the tank, Alex?
Not much, but enough to make it to victory lane, which was good. So, I don't think there's much left.
There's still a good amount of season left, though, but a fourth crown and a three-peat looks inevitable for the 2025 Indy 500 winner, who has now won 6 races this season. 8 races remaining on the 17-race schedule. The next one, the Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio on Sunday, July 6th in Lexington.
Welcome to paradise. Our Amex Platinum card.
What's up, everyone? It's Joe Henry, one of your New York Mets beat reporters for the 2025 MLB season. From Soto's slugging to Senga's strikeouts, I'll have you covered from Citi Field all year long. Follow me on X at JoeHenry_4 for exclusive interviews, game day insights, and live coverage of every play. So take a ride on the 7 train with me as the Mets continue their quest for World Series glory. WFUV, your home for New York sports.
Welcome back. It's WFUV Sports 101. We're here hanging out. We're talking sports. If you want to talk sports with us, you can always call the number. I mean, we haven't gotten any calls yet. We only had Scoop Brandon Robinson. I mean, it was an awesome guest, but we want to hear the fans, man.
Call us.
We want to hear everyone. As we just discussed, I guess we're sports media now, so I don't think we can't even classify the fans yet. So, call us.
Call us,
718-817-2750.
from you.
718-817-2750. You know that, like, Uncle Sam, we want you?
Yep.
We do want you.
We keep breaking the fourth wall today more
I'm
than I
okay
think
with
we've
it.
ever done it, and I'm loving it.
Breaking the fourth wall is
It's so fun.
It's very good to break the fourth wall. I mean,
Yeah.
we have to see the people need to see us.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're watching, it's like, you want to be in the studio with us.
Do you know what
This
else?
is home.
Do you know what else the people want?
What do the people want, Kurt?
Free Yankee tickets. If you want these free Yankee tickets to the Yankees versus the Cubs Sunday, July 13th, answer this question. Yankee star Aaron Judge is leading the MLB All-Star voting again for the second straight year. That got us thinking about sluggers and Yankee All-Stars. Question: who was the last Bronx Bomber to win the All-Star Game MVP award? Yet again, who was the last Bronx Bomber to win the All-Star MVP award? That's it. If you want to call in, 718-817-2750. That's 718-817-2750. We're in the Bronx.
We are in the Bronx.
We are in the Bronx. Take the 4 train. You take the Metro North. Make your way to Yankee Stadium.
Hey, not too far away.
It's not.
It's
where you can
not.
go and watch right now the Athletics and the Yankees play each other in what I can call maybe, it's about to start. We can have that on the TV while we're talking Mets.
Look
And
at
why
that.
not?
Look at that.
You don't ever get to watch live sports when we're here.
Saturday afternoon.
Love a Saturday afternoon baseball game. Why not? Tonight, I mean, the Yankees are, how do I phrase this? Interesting?
Yeah.
I don't like to call them interesting, but they are interesting at the moment. I mean, they really don't deserve to be in the place that they are right now.
No.
I mean, eight wins in a row. I mean, you're beating the bad teams, which is a good thing because you play who's on your schedule. You beat the A's. You beat the Orioles. I was about to say the A's, and then you beat Oakland, but Oakland doesn't exist anymore. You beat the Orioles. You beat the Angels to go on the run after the Angels almost sweep you. I don't know. I'm so all over the place when it comes to thinking about Yankee baseball because in every facet of the word right now, they should be bad.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's crazy to say. They should be bad.
Yeah, I mean, they got hit so hard in the middle of June by the Red Sox and the Angels.
Yeah, they did have a bad June.
I mean, I just want to talk about how the Red Sox swept them.
Rafael Devers is gone.
Okay,
He's
let's
not
not
coming
talk
back.
about that. So that was
He's wearing a
actually the
Giants
best
uniform.
weekend
You brought it up,
ever.
Kate.
That was the best weekend ever. I went home for my sister's graduation. She graduated high school. Shout out Julia.
Congratulations.
And they swept them. Sunday,
And
I'm
then Rafael
driving
Devers
back
gets
to the
traded.
Bronx. I'm feeling great, and I stop to get gas, and I have so many texts. I have so many alerts on my phone, and I see that Devers has been traded, and I'm just like, this
Ain't
is
it
the worst
lit?
weekend ever. It turned from the best weekend into the worst weekend in a matter of seconds. But, it's okay. We're moving on. But the
moving
Yankees
on to the bottom
Can
of the
you?
bottom of the
Yeah.
barrel.
Tell me
Yeah,
how
Shout
you've
out-
gotten
Shout out John Henry,
much worse.
Joe Henry's
So much
grandpa.
worse.
Shout out, Grandpa.
Shout out Grandpa, the owner of the Red Sox. Who knew Joe owns the Red Sox, man? Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy?
it's
Why is he here with us?
Not
Yeah.
yet.
Not yet. But John Henry does. It's your grandpa. So, you're the heir.
That's what they're saying.
Joe Henry is the heir.
Oh, God.
Give him the reins.
The heir to the Red Sox.
It's
Ooh.
just so
Imagine that.
impressive,
No.
honestly, how the Yankees have come back, and I hate to say that about them,
And I
but
think
they
this is-
just, they literally, middle of June, they got essentially destroyed by the Angels and the Red Sox, and they came back and have won so many games.
And I think the thing that you could talk about with the Yankees is the resurgence of Will Warren. Really, excuse me. The resurgence of Will Warren is just ridiculous that you've seen him 5 innings pitched yesterday, 2 hits, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts. I mean,
Yeah.
that's big Will Warren, not a guy that you would normally see. And now that you have Ryan Yarborough, the guy who has just kind of been your new starting pitcher because you needed him to be, he came down with an injury. You don't have Heel yet. He's still out with an injury. You still have Garrett Cole, who's not coming back, but out with an injury. You're getting super stretched thin when it comes to any starting pitching. And the only guy that I can really go to and say he's really put this Yankees squad on his back is Aaron Judge.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, you talk about the rough stretch that the Yankees go through. You expected them to come back.
Yeah.
This wasn't going to last very long.
Before we keep going with the Yankees segment, we might have a caller who has the answer to the Yankee trivia question.
No way.
Mysterious caller.
Oh.
What is your name? And do you want me to read the question one more time? Did we lose him?
No,
Did we
come
lose
back.
The caller?
Oh, no.
I think he's calling again.
Oh, okay.
We'll
okay.
put him back on the board. We'll still talk about Aaron Judge.
All right.
I mean, why is he so unfair?
It's so upsetting because
He's so good.
He's hitting
so good.
356 right now. 358 with 28 home
He's
runs,
so impressive.
63 RBIs. And he's just been the Yankees' bright spot. I don't think that there is somebody else that I can think of. Maybe Cody Bellinger has been one of the more consistent players for the Yankees. And that's one of the bigger deals is just how good Cody Bellinger has been for the Yankees. But their pitching staff is just, who would have thought they would have been good?
Yeah.
I never thought in my life that they could have been good with the amount of injuries that they had to them.
Yeah. Yep.
They finally got Marcus Stroman coming back. But I know, but
Marcus
at least
Stroman starting on
that's
Sunday.
adding somebody to their lineup.
We have the caller back again. Mysterious caller.
Hello?
Could you please give us your name, and do you want the question one more time?
No, it was the last Yankee to win the All-Star Game MVP, correct?
Yes.
Giancarlo Stanton?
Yes. Could you tell me the year?
Oh, God. 22?
Yes.
Yay!
Very good job. All right. Well, we have your Yankee tickets for the Cubs and Yankees game July 13th. Congratulations. But before we let you go and talk to our producer Joe for your email and your phone number, do you have any Yankee points that you want to add on to this team that you've been probably watching? Like any thoughts about the Yankees?
It's just amazing to watch what Judge is doing. It's just, this guy is going to be like one of the great all-time Yankees of all time. If there's another monument, he should get one eventually. I just hope that they win a World Series because people are always going to say, hey, he didn't win the big one. And that's it. But this year, you're watching this guy play. I mean, who was the last guy who did this? Maybe Barry Bonds was this intense of a hitter?
I think
So
it
just a
probably
great
was
season.
Barry Bonds, yes.
Yeah.
Do you think the Yankees can win a World Series with the current construction?
Like every team in baseball, you're going to get more pitching sooner or later because that's the only thing. I mean, you look across down at the Mets, their pitching staff's starting to fall apart, and the Dodgers had a couple of sore arms. I mean, if they had a complete pitching staff, I would say, yeah, them and the Dodgers again.
It's definitely a long season, but I really appreciate you calling, and we'll have our producer Joe Henry on the line for your Yankee tickets. Congratulations once again.
Yeah, congrats.
Listen, thank you so much, and happy 4th of July to everybody.
Happy 4th of
Thank
July.
You too.
Forgot that the 4th of July is this week.
This week. This
What?
Friday. This Friday.
If you want to follow something that we do fun every year, the hot dog eating contest covered by me. Come and follow along.
yeah.
This
Come
guy.
and follow along. I really have fun doing the hot dog eating contest. We should all get out there one year. I think we should
The entire
do it.
WFUV staff.
Why not?
Yep.
And we eat the
Let's
hot dogs.
plan out like a reunion there.
We don't even cover
Yo,
it. Yes.
Gabby's thinking of
Okay.
social events.
Yes.
We gotta get Isabella on the phone.
Where is she?
We have to get Isabella on the phone.
You know what? Put it in the calendar.
Put her on the social calendar.
Put her on the social calendar.
But Marcus Stroman coming back, man. Marcus Stroman's a
I mean,
joker.
He is.
He's a
but
joker.
It adds someone to their,
I don't think
their
I can
pitching
think of-
roster. That's
No,
another starting
no,
pitcher.
No,
We'll
Marcus
see what
Stroman-
happens tomorrow.
Let me look up Marcus Stroman's last starts because I remember
he
Marcus
started
Stroman.
in his last 3 rehab games. He's had like a 6.97 ERA.
He's getting shelled, and he's just a joke because
Awful. Yeah.
the Yankees don't even want him anymore. The Yankees don't want Marcus Stroman. They
but
just
they
have
need
to keep
him
Marcus
because
Stroman.
they have no other pitching staff.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
I really-
their
I
offense
really-
is carrying this team right now.
I think the pitching's actually carrying this team more than the offense.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And that's kind of crazy to
They're
say
playing
that that's
better defense.
happening, because that doesn't happen with a team like this,
Yeah.
who has been, I guess, good all year. I don't think that you could say they've been bad all year.
No, definitely not.
But
a
I don't
little
think
inconsistent, but like
But
generally good.
7 and
generally,
34?
when you look at it, it's good.
I'll propose a quick question, and then we got to wrap up because
Yeah.
we got some other stuff to do. Do they have competition in the AL?
No.
No.
Like no.
No Red Sox pick.
I
After Devers is traded, it's over?
Well, I'm just looking at we've lost 8 of the last. We've lost a lot of games recently, and last night was a blowout, and it was very disappointing. And it's not. I'm never gonna lose hope on this team because I love
would.
them so. Oh my God, Kurt! I'm never gonna lose hope on them, but it's also I need
I'm
to be
wearing red.
realistic and look to the future of next year.
Actually, maybe I'll be wearing green next time because that's their other coat. The
I
Red Sox
believe
uniforms are green now.
And they're
The green-
fire.
the green
They're
Sox.
amazing. They're
the green
amazing.
Sox.
I mean, the Green Monster is their entire.
Yeah.
label,
Pesky pole,
right.
Green Monster. Anything to make it
It's a
easier.
wonderful stadium, you
Colors.
guys.
They
Anything
like-
to make
they
it
like
easier.
the colors.
Anything to make it easier.
Hey, we're on the same team here. Essentially.
Oh, we got another caller.
Ooh.
We have Andrea who wants to talk Yankees. Andrea,
Welcome.
welcome to the show. Welcome to One on One. We love callers.
We love callers.
Let's hear that Yankee point.
Thanks, guys. So I'm calling because I will admit I'm a lifelong Sox.
This is my mom,
and
guys.
I can't wait to play the Yankees again. They seem to be the only team we can beat ever. I'm wondering, do you think they'll make a big move before the trading deadline?
I think that they have to make a big move before the trade deadline at this point. I think that the extension of maybe trying to get another arm in the bullpen,
Yeah.
or even maybe trying to bolster maybe trying to trade one of their young guys for someone new in the infield. I mean, Jazz Chisholm really isn't a starting shortstop, in my opinion. He's only okay at third base. I think that he's very good at where he's playing right now in hitting, but I think that there is a very big offensive hole in the left side of the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think those are the only two options, really. For
I think
them.
that the starting arm is probably the.
I think you would kind of have to go bullpen a little bit more.
I think bullpen's probably the biggest issue, but they've been great with their
They
bullpen
just need
recently.
pitching,
Yeah.
They need
Yeah.
starting
Yeah.
pitching. Do you have any other points and questions for us?
Where do you think they end the season? How far do you think they go?
Will they win a World Series?
No.
No.
The World Series ring is going to be in Queens with the New York Mets on the 7 train.
Let's go.
Oh.
That's where that's going to
Let's
be.
go to Queens.
Oh, you wish.
Well, it's not going to the Red
Yeah,
Sox.
honestly, we do wish.
It's not going to either of our
It's not going-
teams,
it's
guys.
not going to the
It's
Red-
not going
it's
to
not
either
going to
of
the Red
us.
Sox, buddy.
Yeah.
All
That's
right,
that's for
thanks,
sure.
guys.
Thank you so much for
Thank
taking the time to
you.
call in.
Of course. Bye-bye.
Aw, thanks, Mom, for calling in.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Keep it in
Yeah.
the fam.
Yes. Love callers.
We
Anyone
love
else?
callers.
Again, if anyone else wants to call in,
They
it's
should have called for those
718-117-2750. She could have came in to go to a Yankee game with you.
Yeah.
Yankee game.
I do
Yeah.
love going to Yankee
The Yankees
games,
call.
even
Oh.
as a Yankee
Stadium's like
hater.
a corporate.
say.
like
Even as a
corporate-
Yankee hater,
Stadium's
I
like a-
enjoy baseball at the
Have
end
you
of the
been
day,
to
and
a-
I think
have
it's
you
Oh,
been
I
to
enjoy
City?
baseball.
I have not been to City Field.
Okay, so
I
you don't
need
know what
to
you're
be to
talking
City
about
Field.
yet.
No,
So
I've-
she doesn't
I'm
get it.
so
Kurt.
Someone knows ball.
excited.
Someone
She
knows ball.
doesn't
Someone
get
knows
it.
ball.
I want to go.
You
a
don't
You've
few
been-
times,
know.
but nobody wants to go to City Field with me.
I'll go to City Field.
Okay,
Gabby will go to
let's
City
go to
Field.
City Field.
Let's
Let's go to a
go.
Mets
Let's
game.
go.
I'm
I
down.
will- come on.
When are we
Put
going?
it on the calendar.
Put it on the calendar.
Well-
I will be there. I want to go so
Now
bad.
that we're
It seems
talking about the
awesome.
Mets,
Yeah.
can wrap up this segment, take the 7 train all the way to City Field, and we could talk Mets next segment. It's Price, Cox, and Sippel on WFUV Sports One-on-One.
Hi, I'm Grace McCarran, and I'm one of your 2025 New York Mets beat reporters for WFUV Sports. Follow along on X at Grace McCarran_ for live game updates, features, and other inside content live from Queens all season long. From Lindor's leadoff blasts to polar bear bombs by Pete Alonso, WFUV Sports has you covered every step of the way as the Mets make the charge towards October. WFUV is your home for New York sports.
For starting pitcher or for anyone to do that, like where they're not getting up by themselves, I mean, it's obviously you kind of know something's not just off, but really, really wrong. So, yeah, it's.
You just heard the voice of Pete Alonso, Mets starting first baseman. Welcome back to WFUV Sports One-on-One. That was collected by one of our beat reporters in the back, Joe Henry. If you want to follow him on Twitter, Joe Henry _3, I believe it is, something like that. There's some
underscore 4, and you know it.
Oh, sorry, I forgot about the _4.
It's a good follow, guys.
_4. 4? Oh, it's
3.
_3. Forgot about that. Just follow Joe Henry if you want to hear some more Mets coverage.
Yep, some food reviews.
Some food reviews? I love doing the food reviews at the stadium.
I
man.
know.
We got
They
Bradley
look cool.
Byrne
We do.
on the show
Welcome,
right now.
Bradley.
Welcome. We're talking Mets. We just heard Pete Alonso. If we might want to refire that in a little bit just to hear the full clip. But Pete Alonso talking about Griffin Canning, who leaves the Mets game early with a Achilles rupture.
Hate to see it.
He's out for the rest of the season.
The Mets just can't catch a break. First, Mania before the season started. Then you had McGill. Then you had Senga. And now it's Griffin Canning. The Mets just can't catch a break.
It's bad.
It's like the 2023-2024 Knicks where everybody just went down. They couldn't catch it.
That was the Knicks that happened to. Yeah, sure.
I will say Achilles is probably the worst injury
For
to
a
watch
pitcher.
happen.
And for a pitcher.
And for a pitcher. I mean, just in general, like even when you when Tatum went down, when Halliburton went, like
The
see
zoom
when he
in,
went down, like
they zoom in
the-
on it.
They zoom in. You
I
see
hate
the
when they
pu-
replay it too,
like,
and they'll replay it and then they'll zoom in right on the Achilles, just seeing
it's
it pop.
bad.
It's
Like they don't want that. Let them
rock.
They're in pain. Let them be.
If we want to talk about the Mets really quick, because I'm also in pain. But also, if you want
Yeah.
to call in about Mets pain, 718-817-2750. That's 718-817-2750. You lose to the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pittsburgh Pirates are the last team in the National League Central. I don't know what to say. Just you allow Mitch Keller, who has been arguably mid, kind of one of the okay starters in the rotation of Pittsburgh.
okay's a little bit of a stretch, honestly.
Shout out to my fantasy team because he's on my fantasy team, and that's why I'm calling him okay. He gets his first win yesterday.
Yeah.
That's
His
the
second,
first time
he's
it's
2-10.
It's the first time that he's got. I think it's his first real win that he pitched all the way through for it or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't
you're
remember
right.
what it is. He gets his first win last season. The last time it took someone to get a win that long in half the season, they're through 86 games. It took him 86 games. He didn't pitch 86 games, but whatever. It took him 86 games. The last time that happened for a pitcher on the Pirates to get that win in this far in happened in 1950. This doesn't make sense anymore.
It doesn't make sense.
You bring in Juan Soto. You have Pete Alonso. You have Francisco Lindor.
Yeah.
It's just that everybody is just going cold at the exact same time. You leave running.
You had the best
scoring
record
position.
in the MLB.
They're still the best record in the MLB. Not the MLB, in the National League.
My bad. Yeah, National League.
NL East. Sorry, I keep changing it.
Words are difficult.
Words are hard, man. Words are hard. Shout out going to college.
Okay, so you still have that record, and yet
The team just needs to be healthy. They need to get all 4 starters back. I think Jesse Winker started rehab, and I think Jose Siri starting rehab
I think we
soon.
could probably talk about this too. Is it just I saw Jesse Winker taking batting practice at one of the Mets games that I was covering. So just overall,
he looked not that bad. He looked pretty good.
He should be good. But I have another question to propose to you, Bradley and Gabby. The issue I have with that is, who starts at third base now?
It's got to be Mark Vientos. I don't care about his slump in the beginning of the season. If the Mets, I would make the argument. I would make the argument Mets don't make the playoffs without Mark Vientos last year.
That's last year, Bradley.
I know about it.
Mark Vientos is hitting.
I don't care about his slump from.
I care about
this,
the slump.
I mean, I know we'll probably talk about General WNBA later, but as much as I love Mark Vientos, I know we were talking in the back about it. Alex Bregman could opt out. I wouldn't be mad if you want to trade from the deadline. If you told me that we can get Alex Bregman before the trade deadline, I would not be mad at that at all. I would trade Mark Vientos for Alex Bregman. 100.
I'm trading Mark Vientos right now for a lot of things.
He just needs to get healthy.
What does he need? What does he need?
Just needs to get healthy. And the offense just
What
needs
are
to
you
get
talking
cooking.
about that he needs to get healthy? He
It was his
had
first game
chances. He had chances at third base. The person that should start at third base right
Is
now.
Brett Beatty?
Yeah. Brett Beatty has been raking hitting. Brett Beatty has been a great fielder. If I'm going to talk about people that need to be sent back down to AAA, I don't know how Mauricio still is getting more chances.
Yeah.
He gets
Neither do I.
chance after chance after
He's
chance.
batting
Mauricio's
like
on a bit of a
190.
heater.
What happened?
Mauricio's on a bit of a heater.
Now he is.
Yeah.
And he's been good again, Joe. I was at the game where he started. He got a base hit to start the run at the 9th inning when the Mets almost lost to the Braves by 4 or 5 runs. They cut that to 3. But I'm not trying to be negative. I don't want to be a negative Mets fan anymore.
Neither do I.
It doesn't work anymore that happens.
No.
But Ronnie Mauricio, guys like this is just like
Should not be your everyday second baseman. That's all
right
I'm
now.
trying to
Actually,
say.
last 7 games he's hitting .333. Just he's not the guy.
But he was
Brett
batting
Beatty-
185 before that.
Brett Beatty is the guy. I think Brett Beatty's your guy. Last 7 games he's hitting .308. Last 15 games he's hitting .235. Mauricio's hitting .245 in his last 15 games. It's pretty similar statistics. I think that Beatty overall is a better fielder
Oh, 100%.
than Ronnie Mauricio. I think that Mark Vientos is clearly at a wall when he goes to sleep in the in the field when it comes to that. I mean, like, I don't know. Gabby, what do you think?
Yeah, I do agree. I think Brett Brady has to be your guy at third base there. It's just tough. Like, again,
does
you have
Jesse
2 more
Winker
games.
go?
Yeah.
Is he your DH?
I don't
Where does Sterling Marte go?
Maybe he's
Where
like
does Sterling
he's like
Marte
maybe
go?
the PJ Tucker of that team, which is like the veteran presence there.
Sterling Marte is literally the hottest member of the New York Mets, other than Juan Soto. That's not named Juan Soto. Yes, Joe?
I misinterpreted your usage of the word hottest.
Oh. Yeah, Sterling Marte. Why not?
Why not, man?
Why
Get
can't
the old
Sterling
guys some
Marte be
love.
one of the
Thanks for that, Joe.
one of the hottest members of the New York Mets?
Yeah,
I don't
Yeah,
see why
I
not.
mean,
Sterling's good looking.
you can throw that
He's
out
good
there.
looking man.
Yeah.
Anyways.
sure.
Hey, you brought it up.
Yeah.
You
you started
You
this.
started this.
I'm trying to get off of it.
I'm gonna
Hey,
make
we're
you
talking
I'm gonna
sports
make
here.
you live in this. Again, Joe, I said sports is culture and everything.
Hey, calling about anything.
Calling about whatever you
Calling
want to
about
talk
Sterling
about.
Marte if you want to. 718-172-750, by the way.
We love Sterling Marte, but I was saying that he's one of the people that have literally been one of the Mets' bright spots. Is Sterling Marte, who's like 1,000,000 years old.
Yeah.
He's been that good, and Juan Soto is starting to fire and he's starting to be good again.
Yeah.
But the pitching is just
Where's everyone else? We need everyone else.
And right now, if I look at the Mets rotation, let's look at the Mets pitching rotation. Really
I hate
quickly.
that Paul Blackburn is a starter. He should be a
Oh.
bullpen guy. It bothers me so
Paul
much.
Blackburn, and I'm not trying to be a little bit. This Paul Blackburn, and I talked to Grace McCarron about this too. Mets beat reporter. Also follow Grace McCarron
Follow
on
her.
Twitter.
Another good follow.
Another great follow. FUV has a lot of great follows. Paul Blackburn, man, what is going on? How many chances can one guy get? I understand that the starting rotation right now is awful, but 6.62 ERA with 2 losses. I've only ever seen him come in and it be a bomb of a game where it's like incredibly bad. Shout out Frankie Montas, who everyone thought he was
He
going to be
looked good.
bad.
I went to the game where he got his
You were
first
there.
start.
I was covering that game.
I was there.
Wow. Small
Wow.
world.
at that.
Frankie Montas comes in, he does great.
Mhm.
Then Oscar Brazabon comes in and walks 3 batters in a row.
It's that time. The bullpen to start the season. If you told me that the Mets are the lowest bullpen ERA to start the season, I would have thought you were crazy. But now I feel like the bullpen's finally coming back down to earth, and it's like, okay, now the Mets need some help.
Richard Lovelady
do.
comes in. He's really good for an inning, and then they cut him the next day. I mean,
Yeah.
that makes sense, I guess. But I don't know. Why didn't you give him a little bit more of a chance? You have, I don't know. It's just way too often. I know I'm saying this a lot, but I just can't understand what is happening anymore.
Right.
I
Who are
don't
you?
look upon what is going on because it feels like they're free falling. They're in a state of we don't know what's going on. And I see Bobby laughing in the back. I'm not sure if it's about my Mets, but they feel like they're free falling right now.
Yeah, it feels like that they don't know what's happening either, and that might be one of the most concerning.
I guess the Mets didn't expect to have 4 of their starters injured as well. That's kind of something that you don't really prepare for.
Yeah.
Because it's literally their top 4 guys are all.
So why don't you start bringing some guys up from AAA? You have guys in the minor league system that we've always been told have been throwing gas. I know that right now we've been told that the AAA system is at the worst it's been right now. Not worst. It's like as different to the MLB as ever before, that it's not as good. But why not?
You can call Brandon Sporat.
Brandon Sproat, you can call him up.
Or Jonah Tong as well.
Shout out Jonah Tong. If you want to watch an interview with Jonah Tong, I keep shouting out our socials, but and Zach Cordova did an interview with Jonah Tong at Cyclone Stadium back in the day. It's not the best interview. I think we did a pretty good job, though. But those guys are really good. I don't think you call up Jonah Tong yet. He's still young.
Yeah,
he really has only been in AA for a few minutes now, it feels like. But Brandon Sproat, if now is the time, Stearns has to make a move.
Yeah. There just needs to be a change. They need
now it's time for Stearns to come out and say, hey, we got to fix some things. Because I can name the starters that they have right now that are good. Clay Holmes. David Peterson, who got shelled last night. And is that it?
That's it. Everyone else is injured. Frankie Montas.
Frankie Montas. But I don't know if Frankie Montas keeps that up.
He looked good, though. He looked good. Five
scoreless innings against a good Braves team.
I would have.
He's so inconsistent.
He put a lot of hard hit balls off of Frankie Montas that day.
Yeah.
You can't say that the fielding really saved the Mets that game.
Yeah.
I will say the fielding was impressive during that game.
I think you can make the argument that Frankie Montas maybe isn't even really 100% healthy. Maybe he's like 90.
They brought him up quickly.
Yeah,
I mean
they needed.
They
kind of
needed.
Yeah, I was just about to say
that's what the Yankees did with
Marcus
Stroman.
Yeah.
I just don't know where to go anymore.
I trust David Stearns though to make some moves.
I do trust David Stearns.
Sandy Alcantara, maybe. I know he's been.
I heard a lot of words, but who do you trade for Sandy Alcantara?
That's true. You don't really have.
Who do you trade? Just like honestly.
Maybe Brandon Sproat, maybe a couple of other guys.
Really?
I mean,
trade your top prospect?
I guess whatever the Mets maybe need to do to get pitching now.
Hear me out. Stop doing the eyebrows thing, Joe. I keep thinking you want to get involved, man.
I'm always involved.
You can keep. Your eyebrows are like the biggest contributor to the show today.
I'm just a reactive guy.
I could see that. I think Mark Vientos.
I don't know if
I trade Mark Vientos at the deadline. Am I crazy for saying that?
I'd say try to get Alex Bregman if you're gonna trade Mark Vientos. Honestly.
Vientos is hard because he logs in at like kind of the most random times.
Exactly.
That you're like, why is he here? But also, thank goodness he is.
Like, how is he doing this? But I'm glad that you're doing it.
Yeah. yes, exactly.
It's like a Linsanity run.
It's not a good feeling, I
think
agree with you, Kurt.
I think
but
Mark Vientos needs to be packaged up.
Ship him for Alex
Sent
Bregman.
away.
Imagine Alex Bregman and the Mets. You got Francisco Lindor, Brandon Nimmo, Pete Alonso, Juan Soto, and Alex Bregman. Imagine that. Imagine that 1 through 5.
I'm nervous that right when you trade Mark Vientos, he's gonna be like.
He's gonna hit.
That's what I mean.
He's gonna hit 600.
That's what I mean.
Well, the Mets and their many needs, ladies and gentlemen. The Mets and their many needs, and 3 Mets fans sitting around the table trying to discuss.
It can only get better, right?
It can't get worse. There's no way. There's no way.
Right?
No, it can't.
Tell me it can only get better.
You've been a Mets fan for how long, Gabby?
I don't think it can get
My
worse.
life.
How long have you been a Mets fan for?
My whole life. But especially like this team right now, it doesn't
life,
get worse.
20 years I've been a Mets fan.
Yeah.
But with this
In
roster,
20 years I've seen it get worse. I've seen it get worse, Gabby.
But with Juan Soto, it can never get worse.
No, it can't.
Okay, you're going back into your pessimism. I need you to come back. I need you to come back.
Me and Grace on a show, we're talking about this. It's like we're not held captive anymore by bad Mets play, but it still feels like we are.
Because we know that they're better than this, and that's the thing. It's a long season. They're going to be better than this.
You still got 80.
That's my
mindset.
80
games left,
right?
79 to be exact. But
well, after all that, we'll figure out what happens with the Mets later in the season. But to wrap this all up, it's WFUV Sports 101. General MLB up next.
You're listening to WFUV, New York.
Welcome back to WFUV Sports One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show. Again, I keep saying it. We have Kate Cox back. Bradley Byrne is sitting new chair. I'm
So
standing
Gabby
up.
seat.
I'm just kind of happy. I'm just kind of hyped.
He's ripping the Pat McAfee.
Just ripping it quickly. I just want to emphasize the phone number really quick. 718-817-2750. That's 718-817-2750. Let's get some callers to talk the MLB All-Star Game just because of how strange the voting has always been.
Asinine. How asinine the voting is. Not strange,
Wow.
it's asinine.
We have big words coming out.
It is a disgrace, but we'll get into
SAT
it.
words.
Okay.
We'll get into it later.
Sorry, I had to sit back down.
But
But
it's got to get comfortable.
I do. It's because we have to talk about this. So
Yeah.
the All-Star Game votes are coming back. Top voter getters. Vote getters.
Vote getters.
Vote getters.
Words are difficult.
Yeah, they are.
That is, yeah.
It's been the common theme of today's show. Aaron Judge with 4 million votes. Shohei Ohtani only behind him by a few thousand.
Yep.
NL and AL
Expected.
starters makes sense. I mean, I don't think that there was really anybody else that could have done that.
They
But
just
now-
have the most fans.
I don't know
Overall,
if it's
those
their-
two
they
guys-
are- they are
those
the-
two guys specifically. If we're talking not as teams, but specific players, those guys have the most fans.
But also, just like in general, they are the best players in
Yeah,
the MLB.
and I feel like
Yeah,
the best players
also
are going to get
that.
the most votes.
Yeah,
I think
totally.
that's the only other reason.
Well, yeah, I mean, but they have a huge. But they
Yeah.
both have huge fan
Ohtani
bases
would probably
behind them.
Ohtani would probably start if he was injured for half the season.
That's what I'm saying.
That might be
Yeah.
the case around
I agree.
Acuna.
I agree with you.
That might be the case around Acuna right now.
So let's start with the American League. We'll run through
Yeah.
every finalist, and we'll talk about who deserves it and who doesn't.
Let's do it.
Well, deserve it and doesn't is not really always how it works, but let's just talk about how we think that these things are shaken up. First up, in the American League, Cal Raleigh.
Riley.
I can't say
right?
his name.
It's Cal Raleigh.
Yeah,
Raleigh.
Cal Raleigh. Oh my god.
Like Raleigh.
I literally
like
said
Say
it
Big
properly.
Dumper.
I said it. I
Raleigh.
know. I said it properly in the back the entire time that we were talking about him, and then right when the mics turn on, I don't get it. And Kirk from the Blue Jays, both the catcher competitions for the American League. And Alejandro Kirk is only in this competition because, arguably, he's a Blue Jay.
I mean, look at the number of Blue Jays that even make it.
I
as far-
know.
They have a whole country behind them, as we've been
Raleigh,
talking about.
Raleigh has been hitting .321 in his last
AL
15
MVP
games.
right now.
Yeah.
He's been .296 in his last 7. I'm just reading out the stats just because of how impressive he
Yeah.
really has been.
He's first in home runs and in RBIs, and third in his OPS.
Kirk has
mean-
been lighting it up. Don't get me wrong. But I don't see a world where this is a hard decision, really. Because to start right now, it makes no sense if it's not Raleigh. Just because how good he has been all season, and one of the reasons why the Mariners aren't a sinking ship, even though they really are a sinking ship.
Like he's literally Cal Riley's literally doing stuff that only Barry Bonds, who's arguably some people consider the greatest player of all time, that he's doing. I really hope Cal Riley does it. Hopefully, he can hit the 7 home runs.
I think he'll get it.
Yeah.
I think he can.
I think he can get it. He's at such a good pace right now.
He's
that
doing so good right
And
now.
he could have a multi-homer game or two before even.
So let's run through these quick because I think we all agree on this one. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. starting first base or Paul Goldschmidt?
I think just because a Blue Jay has to make it, I think it'll be Vladdy.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised.
I think Vlad deserves it.
Well, also based on stats alone, he is technically batting better than Goldschmidt is.
Goldschmidt is good though. Goldschmidt has been one of the reasons why the Yankees are good. I mean, eye test I guess plays a big role in this too. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll probably be Vlad just because he's better.
I think
most
Vlad just
stats.
in general,
Just
but
better in general, yeah.
He's the higher slash more
second
home runs.
second
more
base.
runs.
I was a little more intrigued by. Gleyber Torres and Jackson Holiday.
Yeah.
Shout out Gleyber Torres, just coming out of nowhere.
Gleyber Torres having a great season.
Yep.
320 batting average over the last 7 games.
I mean, the Tigers are just so good.
The Tigers are all
Just-
clicking,
yeah.
and that's what makes me very happy to watch.
Totally.
I think that he deserves to
It
start
should
over
be
Jackson
him.
Holiday.
Yep, I agree.
I think that Jackson Holiday really has been on a mid-baseball team. I think that he's been one of the only people performing. I know it's a regular season award, but Gleyber Torres might be one of the better players that might, who knows, win an MVP.
Yeah, definitely.
Not going to happen, but it could happen.
Yeah, but it's possible.
Jose Ramirez on the Guardians or Alex Bregman? Alex Bregman.
I mean, Bregman, of course.
No.
Whoa.
Ramirez.
Whoa.
I'm going. Alex Bregman didn't even play.
I mean, the only concern
true.
with Bregman is that he's been hurt and he's not going to return until the
Jose Ramirez is
All-Star
batting
break.
318, by the way.
It's
He's
looking-
better,
I know.
He's a better slash line, more home runs, more RBIs.
But Bregman
and
is the better third baseman. He's better defensively.
better defensively, but offensively, it's just so
In
like.
baseball, I don't know if we're talking about all defense when we're talking about
Like,
the
I'm
All-Star game.
I
Jose
mean,
Ramirez has a 150 OPS plus. Alex Bregman has 113.
they're
So, like,
but
that's
it's
also
very
major-
it's very
I'm kind of a big
sim-
stats
they're
guy.
they're
I could see.
offensively similar. Very similar.
Well, the slash line is
offensively.
nowhere.
I think
in the
And
same
he's
realm.
and mind you, he's been like Bregman's been out for multiple weeks now, and he's still got similar stats to what Ramirez
Well,
has.
batting
You know,
average
on-
is very far apart.
Well,
talking
we're only
318.
talking if we're
Yeah,
talking
I
about
know.
batting average. I mean, we
I
don't
mean,
use batting average much
for
more
everything.
Okay, well,
anymore.
Jose Ramirez still has higher on base percentage, higher slugging, more home runs.
He's been playing
Well,
more.
He has
yeah,
double the
he's
amount
been
of
playing
RBIs.
more. Of course, he has
and
more
therefore,
RBIs
players
and
who
home
play
runs.
more should be rewarded. Like at
He's been
more they play.
Bregman's been hurt.
That's why I think Ronald Acuna Jr.
I
should
think
be
Bregman,
starting.
I
but
think
that's a
Bregman.
different-
I think Bregman can get the
It
start.
should be Bregman.
I think Bregman can
It
get
should
the
be
start.
Bregman.
Agree to disagree.
Okay.
Take that.
Yeah.
It's Bregman.
I'll take it.
Jacob Wilson.
You were
of the
just saying
Athletics.
you wanted Bregman so bad.
No, Jose Ramirez.
Yes,
I think
you
Jose
were.
Ramirez is the most underrated player in baseball. I don't think we talk about Jose Ramirez enough. He's consistently a top 5 player.
He's on the Guardians, is why.
Yeah.
Okay, and like I think Jose Ramirez is one of the most underrated players. But that's just my
Jacob Wilson, Bobby Witt Jr. at shortstop.
wow. I can't believe I'm about to really take someone over Bobby Witt Jr. I think it should be Jacob
Yeah,
Wilson.
I agree.
Really?
I'm all
I
for
agree.
the first timers. I'm
Really?
all for the first timers.
But Bobby Witt Jr., man, he does things that no one can do, and he's
But
one
Jacob
of
Wilson's hitting basically 350.
I know he
yeah,
is. I know
he's
how good he
hitting
is.
Just like-
I know
so
how
well
good he is.
right now.
Man,
It's
this
insane.
is so hard for me because Jacob Wilson on a really bad athletics team is what is kind of propping them up.
Yeah.
I guess if one athletics player has to make it, it'll be Jacob Wilson.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
He deserves it. But I think
Bobby
Bobby
Witt will
Witt Jr.
still make it,
He'll
but-
make the All-Star team, but
Exactly.
I don't know
he
if
might
he'll be
not
the
be
starter.
starting.
He'll be really
still
cool.
Make it, though.
Riley, this is an all Tigers outfield. Riley Green, Javi Baez on the Tigers. Man, Javi Baez having a resurgent season.
Yeah.
Mike Trout should
Still
make.
mad we
Mike
traded him
Trout
for Pete
should make
Armstrong.
it. Mike Trout should make it.
I agree, 100%. Thank you. I'm so glad someone.
Mike
is
Trout
giving
should
us-
make it.
Mike Trout should make it.
And man, I don't want Stephen Kwan not to start. I love Stephen Kwan.
Well, Aaron Judge also has to make it too. So
Man,
you-
I
Yeah,
love
Aaron Judge is
Stephen
already
Kwan.
making it.
I know.
All 4 of them
Stephen Kwan will make
could
the.
be good starters.
It should be Mike Trout and probably Riley Green. I think those are the two.
I think
correct
Trout deserves it.
100%.
I think Stephen Kwan can get it.
Yeah.
I just don't think
He's hitting
You've got to
321.
get at
I think
least
if
one
one-
of the Tigers
I think
players
if one
in there
Tiger is
starting,
going
though.
to
They're
start,
so
it'll
good.
be Riley Green though. If one, other
Yeah.
than Tarek Skubal, that's pitching.
Yeah.
Like if one batter has to start for the Tigers, it'll probably be Riley Green.
I agree.
But Stephen Kwan will still make it, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DH Robbie O'Hare. I'm literally on my fantasy team. Robbie O'Horn.
Ryan.
Versus, I can't do it. I
What's
can't
it
do
difficult
O'Hearn.
way?
I can't do it. I can't do the
Ryan
Can't do
O'Hearn or Ben Rice.
Yeah.
Obviously Ryan O'Hearn.
Yeah, Ben
Yeah,
Rice is
I
only
agree.
okay.
Shout out
Moving
Ben
on.
Rice though. You have a pretty
Moving
good
on
year.
because we got to move a little faster.
Yep.
Catcher for the National League: Will Smith, Carson Kelly,
Smith.
Smith,
Will Smith.
Will
obviously.
Smith. Absolutely.
Freddie Freeman, Pete Alonso,
Pete Alonso.
Alonso,
Pete
100%.
Alonso.
Cattell
that
Marte,
OPS.
Cattell Marte, or Tommy Edman.
Marte.
Tom Marte.
Why would it be Tommy Edman? Manny Machado and Max Muncy. This is like
Manny Machado.
Ooh.
it's just because Dodgers
That's
have
such a
fans.
It's Manny
close
Machado. I
one.
mean, come on.
Yeah.
You think so?
Mm.
You might have a
The
different point.
well, the Dodgers have such a strong fan base. I think it'll end up being Muncy.
It shouldn't though.
But it shouldn't
That's
be.
why
I
hate
agree.
how,
I
like,
agree. I agree.
It's just
Yeah.
annoying.
Francisco Lindor and Mookie Betts is an interesting one
How
because
is
they're both
Ellie De La
having.
Cruz not over there? I would take Ellie De La Cruz over Mookie Betts. Obviously,
They're both having really down Right. They're
It should be Lindor, though.
I mean,
really
it should
down
be
at the moment.
Lindor, but I have such a soft spot for Betts. I want it to be him.
He's not coming back.
I know, but
He's not coming back.
I have two bobbleheads in my room of him.
He's never coming back.
I know. It's so sad.
Then in the outfield, we have PCA, Pete Carroll Armstrong, Teoscar Hernandez. We have Ronald Acuna Jr., Kyle Tucker, Andy Pages, Juan Soto.
Acuna Jr. has to.
It has to be Acuna and it has to be Juan Soto.
Yeah.
Actually, PCA is a strong contender for that.
Where the hell is James Wood? If you want a good TikTok, make sure to follow us on TikTok, by the way. Really good content over there. But if this
just keep
gets
shouting
on
us out
TikTok,
today.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Kurt, I know you're gonna probably edit this later. Why is James Wood not a finalist? You're telling me Andy Pages, Teoscar Hernandez, and even Ronald Acuna Jr. Okay, Ronald Acuna Jr. is a little bit different because he's missed a lot of time, and I kind of value players who play more than players missing time. Where is James Wood? Let me just read you James Wood's stats, by the way. He's batting .278 with .377 on base, .553 slugging with 22 homers, 64 RBIs, and a .163 OPS plus. You know what Andy Pages' OPS plus is? 125.
Yeah, Andy Pages has not been as good
Andy
as he
Pages
can
and
be.
Teoscar Hernandez should not be even considered. And I don't want to disrespect any player. First off, it's a huge accomplishment to be a finalist, but
It's all about voting, and I think that's probably the
that's
unfair
what's sad
part.
about it. I
think that's probably the unfair of the MLB All-Star League, the break. Oh my God, I keep tripping up on my words today. MLB All-Star break is just if you have more fans, you get votes.
Yeah.
And that's just how it works.
But if I was choosing, mine would be James Wood, PC, and Juan Soto, just because I value playing.
I think I agree with you, but if I were going to go with who we have here, it's probably
obviously
PCA, Juan Soto, and Ronald Acuna Jr.
Yeah, I agree.
Acuna Jr.
Same thing?
Absolutely.
Shout out Kyle Tucker, though. He'd be the honorable mention.
We have a really special thing coming up now. We have episode 5 of Cross the Line podcast. We have Gabby Price, and we have Mary Hawthorne talking Wimbledon. You don't hear Wimbledon on the WFUV airways ever. You'll hear that right coming up next after this break. It's one-on-one on WFUV Sports. Stay right here to listen to some Wimbledon talk on Cross the Line.
Hey sports fans, it's Bobby C. I'm the sports director here at WFUV. From live broadcasts of Fordham Athletics to coverage of all the professional sports teams in the NYC, we've got everything a sports fan could ask for. Like talking sports? Check out One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show, as well as our diverse collection of podcasts. If you're a Fordham student interested in joining our program, feel free to shoot me an email, bobbyc@wfuv.org. And as always, thank you to all of our listeners who support us every week. 90.7 FM is the home of WFUV Sports.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to
happy it's the weekend. Time for a break from work, and I know that you've also been very busy, so hopefully we can both enjoy this weekend and the clouds go away and the sun starts to come out at some point. But yeah, super excited. It's Wimbledon season. Definitely one of my there's only 4 tournaments, but it's definitely one of my favorites. So much history and so fun to watch. So I'm super excited that we're only a couple days away from seeing all of this action.
I know I've been having tennis withdrawals because after to the French Open's excitement. I mean, I know we've had some tournaments. We had the Queens, which we'll get into a little bit at the end of the pod, but it hasn't been the same. And I think Wimbledon season is one of the most exciting out of the whole year, out of the whole tour. So I'm so excited we get to talk about it. But to start off, so for those that don't know, the tournament starts on June 30th, so just a few days away. But qualifying rounds are in full swing, and most of the players have been there, honestly, for weeks to about a week, practicing, making their mark on center court, and just adjusting to the grass court atmosphere. As of right now, Coco Gauff and Arina Sabalenka have been there practicing together. I was surprised. I don't know about you, Gabby, seeing that the feud is over. I think on our last podcast, we talked about the drama that unfolded between Gauff and Sabalenka at the French Open final. Sabalenka made some disrespectful comments about Gauff's game, but it seems that everything is all good now. They're making TikToks on center court, and, telling everybody that the feud is over. So I was curious what your thoughts were on that, Gabby.
Yeah, I thought it was super cute. I think it's so fun to see kind of the behind the scenes and and when competition isn't in swing and players are kind of interacting with each other and having fun with each other. And obviously they're both there for tennis, but like friendship is bigger than tennis, I think. And so it's fun to see some of like the players that you don't normally get to see interact like that. Coco is so active on social media anyway. So seeing her pull in other players from the tour is always super fun. And I mean, part of it, like, I think there will always kind of be a feud as long as they're both on tour at the same time, just because they're athletes are so competitive. They're always going to be in the top five, I'm going to say. I think they're always going to kind of be pushing each other's buttons, but like, again, I think we've mentioned about it. Sometimes women get a little bit catty. Came out in the last finals, Sabalenka kind of said some of those words post-match, but she did come back and apologize. She did say that she wasn't the wrong for saying the things about Coco, so it seemed like it was a little bit of like the heat in the moment type of situation. And I think Sabalenka has lost to Coco now a couple times in the finals, so I'm sure that's definitely a frustrating feeling. But yeah, just super fun to see them kind of making TikToks on center court. And like, I don't know, it's like so silly and so fun. And it's awesome to see kind of that content come out.
No, I totally agree. I think some of the best parts of the tour, I mean, of course, it's the tennis, but seeing the personality of the players, I mean, makes it all the more fun. And the fact that so many players are so outgoing and just really expressive on social media, I think makes it so fun. Like seeing Gauff's, TikToks and Instagrams just show, I think, audiences that she is a real person. Like, of course, she's one of the best tennis players in the world, but like so funny and outgoing, and somewhat relatable, which is a crazy thing to say.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say.
But no, I love her content, and I feel like the Gen Z sort of generation of the tennis world is making, more of a social media footprint, so to say. I follow Alcaraz on TikTok. I think Sinner's sort of making his way now. Ben Shelton, of course. But I feel like seeing even like the Wimbledon Instagram page really utilizing the platform to show the players' personalities has been so fun. Like I've been following the Wimbledon Instagram like every day, and they're constantly posting new content. They posted a mic'd up episode of Alcaraz and Novak, or Alcaraz and Djokovic rather, on center court today. And it was just so cool seeing, that these incredible athletes are also really funny people. So I've loved it.
No, it's so fun. And I think it's kind of the beauty of, the players getting to the tournament so early, and Queen's Court happening right before Wimbledon. And even when you look at the US having Cincinnati and, some of those hardcore tournaments right before the big majors, it's so fun to see the players kind of interact and get to know each other and like show the world that, yes, they're competitors on the court, but they're also kind of friends behind the court, and they're funny and they like to have fun and not just like have their game face on all the time. So I think it's like a really cool way to kind of even like humanize tennis to an extent, because there are so many competitive feelings. So, the mic'd up, I mean, in any sport, it's always so good. It's kind of funny to see how players think and what they say to each other. I really like when tournaments also do that for mixed doubles. And then that's just like a lot of personalities. I think the US Open is really good at that. So yeah, content wise, I mean, we both love content here. Wimbledon is a great follow. Anyone who's looking to get into content, like check that page out.
Yeah, and you know what I'm immediately thinking is going to be a great like content thing is Alcaraz and Raducanu when they're playing together in mixed doubles at the US Open. I think the TikToks and just general posts are going to be insane because I've already seen
absolutely
like videos of them at Wimbledon together. I mean, these are just like people secretly taking pictures of them, but I think the content that they make together, even on like Tennis Channel or whatever, is just going to be great considering they're two like really outgoing, fun personalities.
Yeah. They're great personalities and so young. I think any of the young people just love being on social media and being a tennis influencer, quote unquote, or not even a tennis influencer, just like using their influence as popularity, I guess. I don't know.
Totally. But on that note, I think we should get into our predictions for the tournament. I know all four of us aren't here. Grace is across the pond in London, and Mary Hannah isn't here today. But for now, I think you and I, Gabby, should go over our predictions for the tournament. Why don't you kind of explain this outline that you made?
All right. I think let's start with the champion. So I kind of wanted to do like a fun little spin on predictions because, we could do the whole bracket and that would be kind of a lot, I think. And also there's so much unpredictability in tennis. So I was kind of thinking to myself, how can we make this, as close to the point as possible while still being like fun and entertaining and stuff. So I have a couple of categories here that we all did for the women's and the men's. So let's start with who we picked as winner. We'll do women's and the men's. How about? So my winner of Wimbledon is Sabalenka.
Okay.
I think, we've already mentioned her this episode. She lost to Coco last tournament in Paris. I think she's going to be playing with a little bit of a chip on her shoulder. I think she keeps getting herself to these finals and just is unable to get there. So I think she plays well on grass. I think she has the advantage over Coco on grass. And so I think this would be a tournament that she will try and take advantage of because of that.
That is true. And that was going through my mind when I was picking my champion. I mean, Sabalenka understands the pressure that comes with a major final. She's been to so many. She's won major finals. So it's difficult. I think your point about playing with this sort of chip on her shoulder is definitely true. And I think she's going to make it very far. I think she totally could be a champion, but I'm going to go a little bit of in a little more of an optimistic route for a player that I really love, that I think is an underdog, Jasmine Paolini. Last year, her run at Wimbledon, making it to the finals, I thought was incredible. And the fact that she beat Goff at the Italian Open final, I think says something. I know that was clay, and I know Goff wasn't necessarily playing at her best, but I love her. I think she sort of has some understanding of the pressure that comes with, making it past quarters of a major, particularly at Wimbledon. So I'm going to go with Paolini for the final here, or at least pretty far.
I do like that pick. I think she's someone who I also see doing really well. I kind of alluded to this. I have Coco as my runner-up. But I have Paolini as one of my quarterfinalists. I think you just said her run last year kind of proved that her place on the tour. And she hasn't made that much of an impact, I would say, this season, or she hasn't been breaking headlines like she did last year. But I think this tournament is a really good place for her to kind of get herself back in that. Because I think Wimbledon is so different for a lot of people. And I was actually just talking about this with my mom. If you become a really good grass player, you can beat a lot of really good players who are not as comfortable playing on grass, excuse me. So I think she's one of those players that's kind of a sneaky, can beat any of those top 5 players. So I think that's a good pick. But I mean, obviously for selfish reasons, I'm still hoping for Sabalenka.
Okay, so your runner-up was Goff, mine too.
Okay.
I mean, of course, I think she's going to make it very far.
Yes.
Love her. But I was surprised. I didn't realize when I was looking back at her sort of former Wimbledon runs, she has only made it to the round of 16. I mean, she's done that 3 times. That was 2024, 2021, 2019. But I thought that she has made it farther. So that's where I was like, I don't know if this is necessarily her year for Wimbledon. I think it's her year for the US Open. I think that she's been playing so well. I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily know if she's going to be tired, but she's been devoting this like maximum effort the entire time, where I don't know if it'll be possible at this Wimbledon, considering grass like isn't her strongest surface. But yeah, so that was why I totally agree. I think definitely runner up.
So then my other quarterfinalist was I had Jasmine Paolini, and then I had Madison Keys. I think
that's a
she's
good one.
also a little sneaky pick. She's been playing really well recently, and we don't talk about her a lot, but I think she could find her way to a quarterfinal this year.
That's such a good pick. That is such a good pick. I forget about her Australian Open run too, when I shouldn't. I mean, she was the Australian Open champion. Wow, wait, I want to change mine. I want to add her to mine too.
Picks are locked in.
Okay. Picks are locked in. Okay, I said Sabalenka because, of course, I think she'll make it far. And then my other pick was another American, Pegula.
Yeah, those are good
He's
picks.
so solid. I think she'll definitely make it far.
So then we have, this is where it gets a little fun. Most likely, wait, where am I? Most likely burnout. This is a top 10 player who we think will lose in the first or second round. So kind of early prediction. There's always these players who lose early. I'm going with Badosa. I think she has a tough part of the draw, and also just, kind of American bias. I don't think she's the best on grass.
Yeah, I didn't realize she's playing Bolter the first round. Wow.
Yeah.
Who now is number 2 for Great Britain. Yeah, no, I agree with Badosa. She wasn't my pick. I picked Andreeva. I don't know. I think she's an amazing tennis player. Her run at the Miami Open proved that. But she can be inconsistent on grass. So that's why I think there's a possibility maybe for her to burn out here.
Yep. I see that. And yeah, I think she's a very on or off player. So depends on the day.
Yeah.
And then we have wild card goes wild. This is a wild card player who we think will make it to the 4th round / just whoever we think the wild card that will go farthest. I'm a little unconfident in saying this name that I picked, but Mika Stovacek, I think. Don't quote me on that, but she is playing Kruger, who is American, ranked number 31. I think Mika is just having a really good season thus far, and I think in this half of the draw that she's in, I think it's kind of set up that she would be able to make a run. But who did you choose?
I was a little shaky with my pick. I picked Petra Kvitova because I've always been a fan of her. I mean, she has 2 single major wins under her belt, but she's playing Emma Navarro, so that's tough. I mean, I guess
that is why I didn't choose her.
But I think I'm not as familiar with some of these wildcard picks, but seeing her name, I mean, she's a great player with a lot of history, so I think if anyone could beat Navarro, it would be her. So that's why I'm going to be optimistic with her as my wild card.
I like that. That's a good reasoning. And then our last category, kind of just for fun, who do we think will make a celebrity cameo at any of these matches? I said for the women's, Florence Pugh. I think she's kind of in London a little bit sometimes, and I could see her making a Wimbledon appearance. I don't know.
Yeah. That was a good one. I could see her totally being there. For me, I picked Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo.
I would love that. I would love
There's
that.
a possibility here. She was there with Jonathan Bailey last year.
Ooh, okay.
So considering Cynthia Erivo is from Great Britain, I think there's a chance, but I
There's
mean,
probably a chance, probably more so for Cynthia. It would be crazy if they showed up together, I
yeah.
will say.
And green
But
is for Elphaba, the green grass,
yeah.
Wimbledon is like wicked colors. I don't know about the pink at Wimbledon, but I'm sure there are pink flowers on the grounds.
I'm sure there's pink
Yeah.
somewhere over there.
But I would love to see them. I think their outfits would be good.
Yeah, they would show up. They would show up.
They would.
But maybe let's run the men's side super quick.
Yes.
So starting with the champion, I have Alcaraz Classic. He's on an 18 match win streak.
That's crazy. Which
is absolutely insane. And so I can definitely see him making that 25 or 26 or whatever it is. He's just so good right now.
Totally. I kind of flipped my champion and runner-up. So champion, I have Sinner. I think it would be incredible if he won his first Wimbledon this year. And then runner-up Alcaraz. I think their rivalry is so good. It could go either way. I mean, I favor Sinner just in general, but we'll see how it goes. I know Sinner recently lost to Bublik, which was, a big upset. So we'll see how he goes into Wimbledon, but I think that he has a chance at being the winner here.
Yeah, and I have yours flipped. I have Sinner as the runner-up, so we are in agreement of a Sinner Alcaraz rematch final. So hopefully that happens. That would be another great 5-set match, probably.
Yeah.
But moving on to our quarterfinal survivors. First one I have, and I think we are in agreement on this. Draper.
Yes.
Classic, a Brit. Would be really fun to see. Local to the country, make it this far in the tournament. And then my second one, I have Medvedev.
That's a good one.
In my reasoning with him, I think he makes it far in tournaments, but he doesn't win them.
Yeah.
I don't need him to win one, but that's my stance on him as a player.
Yeah, that's my mindset on Zverev. I think he has a good draw. Like, he definitely can beat these players. But then he encounters Fritz, who for some reason he cannot seem to beat. But I'm optimistic here. I think Zverev's going to beat Fritz. And that sort of leads me to my most likely to burn out top 10 player who will lose. I'm going to go Fritz first round. He has been so inconsistent this season. He beat Zverev in, do you know, what was that ATP 1000 they just played? Anyway, we'll look it up and get back to you guys. But if anybody cares, but I was so upset that Fritz beat Zverev in this ATP 1000 tournament because I don't know, Fritz has been really inconsistent the whole year. Last year he lost in the US Open relatively early. I don't think grass is his strong suit, so that's going to be my pick. But I don't know about you, Gabby.
Yeah, no, I am in agreement with you on this. I think also that was in Germany. I think that's
it was Germany? Okay.
I think it was Stuttgart. I think that was what my brief Google search told me. So hopefully AI is right on this one. But I do think I may 100% agree with you on Fritz. I think he's someone who is really inconsistent, and he's been playing well recently, but it feels like his that switches really quickly for him. So I do have him losing in the second round as well. But maybe he proves us wrong and he beats Zverev again. I actually, I'm not a big Zverev fan. So
me neither.
I actually don't mind that he won over him as long as we're talking about that. But we'll see. Moving on, wild card goes wild for the men's side. I have another Brit, Jack Pennington Jones. Talk about a British name right there. That was honestly part of the reason why. But He's also been having a good season. I think he has a good place in the draw where he would be able to make a little bit of a run. He's not playing anyone crazy for a couple rounds. So that's my wild card pick for the men's.
I'm not familiar with him, but I'm definitely interested. For me, I chose Dan Evans, who's also from Great Britain. I chose him merely on his US Open run in 2024. He made it quite far. He played the longest match in US Open history.
Wow.
Yes, versus Karen Khachanov. Really cool. Definitely has endurance. He's been on the tour for over 10 years. So I would love to see him make it far.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. I would like that as well. And then rounding it off with celebrity cameo for the men's, I have, and now reflecting a little bit, I probably should have chosen him as my women's celeb cameo. But I have Jason Sudeikis, who's
That's so
Ted
good.
Lasso in common man's terms, but he's a really big women's sports fan, so I think he could be either side of the draw here. But I do think he's very likely to make a tennis appearance of sorts.
That's such a good pick, especially with Ted Lasso. And isn't he a big Fever fan or Caitlin Clark fan, maybe?
Yeah,
Right?
I think so. He's
Very cool.
he loves the WNBA, so we love him.
I love it. Yes.
Jason Sudeikis.
That was such a good pick. For me, I chose Charlie XCX because I love her. She's from the United Kingdom. I think, we could definitely see her there. Wimbledon is Brat Green. So
I like your color themes here.
That wasn't even intentional. I honestly just thought of it now after I said that about Wicked. But yeah, I'd love to see her. I think she'd be great.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be really fun. She'd be sitting in the stands with like big sunglasses, crazy outfit.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Exactly.
But that does it for our prediction. So it should be a super exciting Wimbledon. We'll follow us on our socials to stay updated with our picks. We'll see who does the best by the end of the tournament, and then you will also be able to see Grace and Mary Hannah's picks, which I'm very curious to see. I was hoping that they would have had them picked so that we could talk about them together, even though they aren't here. But I'm curious how similar or different they will be, because we just between the two of us, we had some variety. So it'll be fun to see where they land.
Definitely. And with that being said, this is Cross the Line. I'm Mary Hawthorne here with Gabby Price, a production of WFUV Sports.
Hey, this is Chris Carino, Fordham and WFUV class of 1992. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One on One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
Well, that was an awesome episode of Cross the Line with Gabby Price and Mary Hawthorne. If you ever want to listen to Cross the Line, go to our YouTube page, WFUV Sports, on YouTube. You can listen to Cross the Line. Hopefully soon we will have it up on our wherever you can get your podcasts. We're working on it right now. We have to figure out some
logistical stuff.
Yeah,
logistical stuff.
Systems.
Currently on YouTube.
Figuring it out.
It's currently on YouTube.
Go for it.
By everyone, so
awesome episode.
We just have to figure out some technical operations on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some gothic some gothic operations with that.
Operations. You know how it be.
How it is. Well, it's One-on-One, WFUV Sports, New York's longest running sports call-in show. We're gonna end this with a little segment we like to call Would You Rather with the hosts. Why not?
Yeah.
Let's do that. We're gonna have a little sports debate. It's got a little bit of 12 minutes of this. We're gonna start out with a question. And my question starts like this. Would you rather your sports team win once in your life and be bad for the rest of your life, or be in the playoffs constantly but never win? So either you want to be a New York Jets fan or you want to be a Steelers fan.
It's a good one.
It's up to you guys.
It's a good one.
I'll give you my answer after.
I would love to see my favorite team win in my lifetime, but my issue is like if we're talking about like from this point forward, right?
Yep.
Like
never wins again
not
after
in the
they win.
past.
I was gonna say I haven't had that issue so far.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I was just making sure that
Never
it
winning
wouldn't.
again.
Yeah.
that's not true. That's not true.
Okay.
I mean,
Gonna be
I
very
think I'd
disappointed.
rather see my favorite team win once. Like,
I agree.
yeah,
I
than
actually
than
agree.
be playoff
If
every
we're
single
so
year.
close and it never
Yeah.
clicks, I would be so upset.
Yeah,
But they're
that's
good forever. They're always good. They're
But
always
not good
They
enough.
never are.
But they're always good.
It'd be good, but not
but
good
you
enough.
never get a ring.
But they're always good though.
Never getting a ring.
I'm
is
talking like you
crazy.
become the championship and then you're never in the playoffs again. You would be happy about that?
No, but
No.
at least I would be able to say that they won.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you have kids and like everyone
yeah,
else,
and then I'm
they'll be
telling
like,
the lore.
you're like
back in my day.
you're like in your
Yeah.
90s and you're talking about how
yeah.
how your favorite teams
Back in the 2020s.
But I'd rather have the
2020s. Back in the 2020s, the Mets really got it together.
When they got a
came
World
back,
Series. Oh my
won
God,
the
that would
World
be so
Series.
that would be hella Mets.
But I'd rather have
And then
that
never
than be
again,
like,
like-
they're never gonna get there. Yeah, the Mets are great. Like they're doing so
Mets
good,
fan?
but they never won. I'm talking
Did
in
we get you?
your. I'm talking
Mets fan?
in your.
She might be crossing over.
Hey,
I
never
think-
say never.
Look at Joe. He's also becoming a Mets fan. Look at him back there.
Yeah.
I
Wait-
mean, if
wait
I'm
till
gonna
we-
support
Smile-
any
he's
team
smiling
in the
thinking about Peter-
National League, I'll
I'm
support
an
the
enjoyer,
Mets.
not a
I'll
fan.
support the Mets.
He's smiling thinking about Pete Alonso back there.
Once we take you to City Field too,
I'm
your
excited.
life
I'm
is
excited.
changed.
I'm excited.
Life
Who
is
needs- who
changed.
needs-
I'll never I will never change my allegiances, but I can have like a National League team.
Sure,
You know?
sure, never.
I'm like a supporter of the
Never.
Mets from the National League. They will never, I will never support them against the Red Sox, but I'll support them against anyone else, especially the Yankees.
That's what they all say in the beginning.
That's Kurt. It's never happening.
Gabby?
Hey, I don't know. I think we know something that she doesn't, Kurt.
I think so too.
Yeah.
You want to start with your question?
Yeah. Wait,
Yeah.
what was your answer?
Yeah.
I think it's be good but never good enough.
What?
I think it's be good but never be good enough.
That's crazy.
I don't think I want to see.
pain for the rest
It
of
is,
your
it
So
is,
Brooke,
it is.
so
It is.
so the Nets are not winning in 2027. Just we
Wait.
heard it
Yeah,
here
yeah,
first
wait,
from
wait.
Kurt. It's
Yeah, wait.
never happening
Insert this
in
question.
his lifetime.
This question, but insert Nets.
They haven't
Yeah.
been good yet. So I can't talk about it.
But still, like from
But
this
it's the
point
hypothetical.
forward, this
Would
point
you
forward,
rather,
we're
Kurt?
talking
This is
about
a
a
would you
hypothetical.
rather
Never mind.
segment.
I'd rather watch them win it.
Yep.
Actually, no.
Okay, so
You
we're
don't wanna
giving
see-
up on
I
2027.
do want to see them win a championship, but I also don't want to see them be bad for the rest of my life.
But you could at least think
Isn't
about the
that
one
already
the year when they. I
No,
mean, you're
it
already
isn't.
seeing
It
that
isn't.
happen.
It
You're already
isn't.
seeing the
It
Nets
literally
be awful
isn't.
your
It
entire
literally isn't.
life.
They literally have not been awful my entire life. You guys are so incorrect. 0 out of 10 rage bait. 0 out of 10 rage bait.
Basically,
0 out of 10.
they've
I
basically
don't
been
know.
bad.
I don't know. Maybe you know what? We'll
In the
talk after your
2010s,
5 draft picks.
2010
Yeah.
in the 2010s
We'll
and the
talk
early 2000s,
after
who's been a better team?
2027.
Who's been a better team, the Knicks or the Nets? Tell me. And playoff-wise, who's been a better team?
I was barely conscious in
Thank
the 2010s.
you. Thank you. It's the Nets. It's the Brooklyn
And
Nets.
who was better than both?
No one cares about the Boston Celtics. If they
Thank
were off
you.
the face
We're
of the
in
earth
New
tomorrow,
York,
I wouldn't
guys.
care.
Joe
New
Henry
York or
looks like he
nowhere.
cares about the Boston Celtics over there.
They're never going anywhere, Joe. It's over, man.
Not
Jason
true.
Tatum's getting traded.
Oh.
Derek
He's
White's
pulling
getting
out the puppy
traded.
That
dog
is
eyes.
not
Everyone's
true.
getting traded.
That is not true.
All right.
Okay, Gabby,
well,
you want to go?
Gotta stop. Yeah, I can't
Gabby,
let
your
him
turn.
emote like that.
He's emoting.
Okay.
Or maxing.
Oh no. Okay. So, would you rather call a game with Mike Breen or be coached by Bill Belichick for a week?
Mike Breen.
Be coached by Bill Belichick.
What? In what sport? What are you doing? You're playing football? What is this hypothetical?
I grew up during the New England Patriots dynasty.
You're just gonna have Bill Belichick
Of
coaching you
course
to wake
I'm
up,
choosing
eat
him.
eat breakfast. It's gonna be like with blowing the whistle in your face to do your homework.
No.
Do your homework.
Not even a question.
Would it change if I threw out like Gary Cohen, like if it was Fordham Loan?
Still
Bill
happening.
Belichick.
Still happening. Gary Cohen's a legend, man.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I would rather.
I wanna
call
hear
the
Joe's
game than
opinion on
be
this.
coached by Bill Belichick, but
What are you getting coached on?
I feel like specifically if you're Kate and Bill Belichick was your coach. Somersault.
Yo,
what? Are you
what?
coaching me?
If Bill Belichick's trying to coach you in cheer,
I'm not thinking about
don't
cheer.
think he
I'm
has the
thinking
pedigree
about
for that.
if I were a
Imagine
football player.
Bill Belichick gets hired for Fordham Cheer. We become the number one team,
We would be
cheer
the
team
number
in
one
the
cheer
country.
team in the country.
Oh.
We would
we do
beat
have a
Fordham
vacancy in
football.
rowing.
We would
Imagine you
beat
just be like,
Fordham
"Oh, just
football
move the
if
oars.
we had Bill
So hard."
Belichick as our
We'd just be like,
coach.
all right, we're gonna cheer. We're gonna
There's the
cheer.
long sleeves out. We're on the water in the fall.
I can't do this anymore. Okay. Where's the
That's
cutoff?
right,
Where's my
right.
cutoff
Love
sweatshirt?
that.
I would love to see Bill Belichick as like the base for like the
Oh,
I can see it. I mean, his new girlfriend. I think like they're in the
She
the
could be
works.
the
for
she's
that.
about our age.
Yeah,
She could be the
she
top
is
of the
our
pyramid.
age.
Another reason to say no.
No, I
Okay.
love him. I love
Okay.
him.
I
He
think-
created wonderful years in my childhood. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it that way.
Wow. Wow. That's all I have
Ladies
to say.
and gentlemen,
wow.
you heard it here first.
Joe
Bill Belichick will no longer be the head coach of North Carolina football. He is coming to Fordham University, and he's becoming the head coach of Fordham Cheer. And we're going to be the number one team in the country.
And we're gonna beat Fordham football at our first home game. You guys should come watch.
Wow. Wow.
You heard it
Yep.
here first.
They're going to beat Fordham football.
Yes. Yes.
That's a big statement.
That's a big.
Is
That's
it
a big
statement?
Yeah, that's a big statement.
Not with Bill Belichick on our side means we are winning. We are
Yeah, but
beating
he's not-
every
he's
single
coaching.
football
He's not
team.
What's he
playing.
doing?
Yeah,
He's
but
not
he's a great
on the
coach.
field.
We lift. We're strong. You know.
I'm not saying that
no,
you're not strong.
We
in
can,
anything.
strong.
We,
You're
if
very
you put us in
strong.
some gear,
Yeah.
if you put us in some gear, and Bill Belichick is coaching us as football
How
players,
many people are
we're
on the cheer
winning.
team?
There's 13 of us. We'd have to play
So you
both
guys got
offense.
some recruiting.
We'd
to
have
do.
to play both offense and defense.
Could
Yes,
FUV
that
get
would
involved?
be-
Wait, so FUV
Wait,
can
FUV
get.
gets
We
involved.
don't have enough people. How many people do we have on staff? Joe, how many people we have on staff?
38 right now.
Okay, so we have a team.
We have a training class incoming. That's our recruiting.
We
so
have a team.
we put them out in front as our O-line. They're our O-line.
We have 4 verbal commits.
Those are our O-line. I mean, you gotta lock in somehow.
That's FUV.
They have to train a little bit. You
Yeah,
know?
they could
That's
be our
They
O-line.
gotta lock in.
Maybe our D-line as well, and then we get
Yeah.
Kate as our
I'll
quarterback.
be the QB.
Quarterback?
Yeah.
Why
yeah,
not?
let's make that happen.
Joe is our kicker.
Me and
Hey.
Kate Cox and Bill Belichick as the next dynasty in football, you guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, but I see it. I'm
don't-
glad we got a plan.
I don't know if I see. What would our new team be called?
I actually have no idea.
I don't know.
Any
That- I'm
ideas?
not-
Any
I'm
ideas?
not
I don't
good at
know if
that
I
stuff.
want FUV directly involved in this. I'm just kind of still on the cheer.
I'm okay with calling the game.
You know
Ooh.
what? Me and you in the booth, Kurt.
Kurt, you're my punter.
I'm the punter.
You're the
I'm okay with that. I don't want to be in the first line against the Fordham football team. I'm so okay. I'm
That's
okay,
all
Joe.
Kate.
That's why I said you could be the kicker if you want. No, never mind.
Who's
Actually,
my O-line?
We'll put you right in the front line. You could be a corner.
Ooh.
You
Corner,
could be
that's fine.
corner. You be corner.
Yeah,
Put you in the
that would
corner.
be good. That would be good. All right. Do we have time for my question?
We have.
Yeah, let's go
All
We
right.
have like very
Quick
quick.
Would
speed
you
run.
rather be a great player known for a crazy scandal, or would you rather be a good player that no one remembers?
Good player, no one remembers.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, good player. No one remembers.
I'd rather be known for a scandal.
because someone would.
I would totally rather be known for a scandal.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Then your name is known, you know?
Yep.
But if I'm a good player, I'm like Jeff Green. I'm a good player,
But
but
like-
no one really remembers me. But I'm still a legend. I want to
How-
be Jeff Green.
Like, I'm thinking
Like, what type of scandal are you talking?
I mean, I'm thinking like Houston Astros.
I guess, but
the
you're still you're hated.
2017
You're
Yeah,
hated.
Oh,
in that
totally,
case.
but everybody knows who I am because I'm great.
So you just want to be.
you just want the
wanna
fame.
Be, just want
She
the
just
fame and the
wants
glory.
I
Glory.
just want to be
Like-
the great baseball player.
She just wants to be fame and glory.
she does. She does.
Everyone
you
watch
were
out.
really on another page.
Everyone watch
than
out for
us.
Kate Cox. Kate Cox doing something scandalous, potentially, to get her name in the papers.
I got my eye on you now. Hope you know.
Well,
I guess we'll see.
to wrap this all up into a big bow, I'd like to thank everyone that worked so hard today on the show today. In the back, we had Joe Henry chiming in, and on the production board, we had Bradley Byrne. He was on the monitors and in the studio talking some sports with us. He talked some Mets, he talked some Yankees. We had Bobby C in the back, too, our executive director, Bobby C. Always doing great things. Thank you, Bobby. Then, in the studio, just a quick thank you to everyone around me. Gabby Price, Kate Cox. I have been Kurt Sippel for WFUV Sports One-on-One is a production of WFUV Sports. Have a great afternoon, everybody, and have a good 4th of July.